You're listening to The Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, Cedar Rapids. We now leave our network programming to bring you the following special sports presentation.
Cedar Rapids Kernels, that's a good time roll.
Play ball! Are you ready to let the good times roll? Are you ready for Kernels baseball? The Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, and the Class A affiliate of the Anaheim Angels welcome you to Cedar Rapids Kernels baseball. Now in his ninth season as the voice of the Kernels, here's John Rogers.
A long-anticipated home playoff game. We told you about it weeks ago, and here it is. Thursday, September 9th, the Kernels with their backs to the wall following last night's 3-0 shutout win by the LumberKings at Alliant Energy Field in Clinton, have a chance to tie this series and set things up for a winner-take-all Game 3 tomorrow at noon. The big thing now, though, the Kernels must score some runs and have to have just as good a pitching effort from starter Chris Hunter as they got last night from lefty Nick Touchstone. The Kernels blanked by a pair of right-handers, Jose Garcia and Cesar Herrera, had only 4 hits, just 5 base runners. No Kernel reached third base, no extra base hits, and only 1 Kernel reached second base. It was a totally dominated pitching performance by the LumberKings, and the Kernels desperately needing to shake things up, have a new-look lineup. We'll talk about that and more. Brooks at bat, legendary sportscaster, Hall of Famer Bob Brooks standing by to give us his slant on this series, and we'll also talk about postseasons in general. Bob Brooks, Brooks at bat, next. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on The Zone.
Everyone knows the old saying, why buy new when used will do? Well, it certainly applies when buying a pre-owned vehicle from Randy Keel Honda in Cedar Rapids. That's because a great selection of pre-owned Hondas from Randy Keel Honda are certified and carry a 12-month bumper-to-bumper Honda warranty. Top that off with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and you have a deal that's hard to beat. IntelliChoice ranks Honda's certification program #1 in the automobile industry for the last 5 years in a row. Randy Keel has many vehicles priced under $5,000 and a large selection priced $5,000 to $10,000, plus a great selection of trucks and SUVs too. They invite you to come in and take a test drive. They're easy to find on Centerpoint Road Northeast, or take a visit to their website anytime, day or night, at randykeel.com. When used will do, make it a certified pre-owned Honda from Randy Keel Honda in Cedar Rapids.
Brooks at bat. Bob Brooks, our dugout interview guest. And Bob, as always happens, no matter what level of professional baseball, it's usually one key play or one big hit and defense and pitching that wins in the postseason. Last night's results bear that out. The Kernels 3-0 losers. Peoria tilted the card of the Kane County Cougars, beating them 3-2 in 12 innings. West Michigan shut out Lansing 5-0. South Bend 4-2 over Fort Wayne. Low-scoring games with pitching dominating, and we kind of saw this coming. Clinton's the hottest team in the league. The Kernels struggling to score runs in the second half, and now our backs are to the wall, and it's do or die.
Yes, it is, and what a night for a ball game. So if you're driving around, or if you're in that mob scene out there going on Interstate 380 North where they've had a wreck, why don't you get off the interstate, turn around, come back, and say, hey, I can do something better. I'll be at the ballpark. And we'll have plenty of room for you, and you can cheer the Cedar Rapids Kernels to see if they can get this thing even. I think, John, when you take a look at playoffs and what teams do, it really depends on your focus. Are you focused on doing as well as you can do, or are you focused on packing your bag in the clubhouse and getting out of here and calling it a year? So can you get the momentum? Can you get the inner drive to rekindle yourself after a long season and come on and take a few hits and get a few runs and see what you can do in a playoff series and try and keep the season going? It really gets all down to you, hey, how much do you really like this job anyhow?
That's it. It's all willpower at this point, Bob, because if you look at it in the course of 5.5 months, 5 months, it's an extra week to try to earn a championship, and you use the words willpower and resolve, and you have the fortitude to stick it out and gut it out. And with that in mind, Bobby Magallanes has his 3 best high-energy guys in the lineup tonight. Ryan Leahy, not real big on talent, but has the biggest heart of any Colonel in terms of his desire from Boston College, is leading off, and then he's got his 2 Australians. And the Australians, let's face it, are cut from a different mold, and not only a surprise to see Michael Collins inserted into the cleanup spot this evening from Australia, but Nick Kimpton, I was a little bit surprised that Nick wasn't in the starting lineup last night because he just came off must-win games at the highest level of international baseball in the Olympics. Nick Kimpton's a guy who knows what a one-game season is because he had to accomplish it with Australia 2 weeks ago to win the silver medal. So at least Bobby, if the players aren't adjusting, Bobby's trying to adjust his lineup to get the most spark and energy and resolve that you spoke of out there. Bob, explain to our listeners, some of them may not understand, well, what do you mean? You play for the postseason. What do you mean the divide in your mind whether to try to forge ahead or have one step out the door? And the reason is the age and experience of these guys.
Yes, it is. They have been through their longest season to date. Now they're looking forward to going home and to wife, family, friends, whatever, and picking up where they left off when they got out of town in the middle part of February.
And that's the key, Bob. 5 or 10 years from now, they'll have been through 5 or 10 years of long seasons, and they'll look forward to the long grind of a postseason at the big league level. They'll look forward to the extra payoff. They'll look forward to being in the limelight. They'll cherish the chance. And we're not implying that the Kernels or any of the teams that are down a game now don't want to win. It's just they're human, and they're young, and they do want to get home. And it's a real battle of the mind because the body at this point, everybody is tired. For the LumberKings, the Kernels, it's who wants it more.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And the interesting thing is that these young men will find out. They'll get home, let's say they get home earlier than we would hope. And in 2 or 3 days, they'll say, hey, I think I'm ready to go back and play again. Well, there isn't any place to play.
They're exactly right.
And then it becomes a long winter, and they start working out and getting themselves energized for the start of spring training again. So really, when they get into this a little bit longer, they'll want to prolong it as long as they can. If any of these guys were in the major leagues, they're looking at, let's say, what the Cubs are looking at. This was a day off for the Cubs. That's their last day off till the season is over. And they have a lot of the aforementioned scheduled doubleheaders with Florida. Same thing for Florida. They're going to play 30 games in 27 days. Well, they've already played, they're over 150 games, so.
It is a real grind, and we're very, very pleased to be playing at home tonight. As Bob said, it's a wonderful night for baseball. Brooks at bat, Bob and I talking about the mental part of trying to hang on for professional pride and for fun and just for the sheer joy of going for a championship. The LumberKings are on the brink of eliminating the Kernels. A win here tonight, though, squares things at a game apiece. Bob Brooks and I will wrap things up before setting Game 2 starting lineups. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Kernels fans, your Cedar Rapids Taco Bell restaurants have something new for you to cheer about this season. A Taco Bell 10 spot. When the Kernels score 10 or more runs in any game this season, you'll score beef tacos for just 39 cents the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell. That's a savings of 50 cents per taco. Limit 10 per customer. Remember, when the Kernels put up a Taco Bell 10 spot by plating 10 or more runs in any game, you get up to 10 39-cent beef tacos the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell.
Toyota Financial Services 1,000-minute reader recognition day is Sunday, September 5th at 1 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Stadium. All you girls and boys who read 1,000 minutes this summer will be greeted on the field by the Kernels at 1 o'clock on September 5th to get autographs. You'll then be honored with a parade around the diamond. Order your tickets for Toyota Financial Services Reader Recognition Day by calling the Kernels at 896-7560. That's 896-7560.
Our Reader Recognition Day on Sunday, but it's good to be reminded of all those kids that accomplished that. You heard our broadcast assistant, Megan Comenda, talking about Reader Recognition Day from Toyota Financial Services. It was this past Sunday. Megan will be along in just a moment to set the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup for us. She's going to be our lucky charm tonight on her final night of work as a Kernel broadcast assistant. Bob, the final thing I wanted you to share with our listeners, I mentioned this earlier on a Brooks at Bat. I'm just finished a book by Jim Brosnan about the 1961 Cincinnati Red World Championship team. Actually, they lost to the Yankees in the World Series, but it was a big deal back then. Fred Hutchinson kind of cracked the whip, according to Jim Brosnan, and said, come on, you guys, that $5,000 World Series paycheck is at stake. That was big money back then. It meant maybe not having to work full-time in the off-season. It meant a new car. It meant a house. And guys were driven back in the 60s and even the 70s to get to the World Series for that winner or loser share. What about that today? It's not nearly as big a factor.
It's no factor at all, because all you're doing is playing for the Internal Revenue Service. That's all you're playing for. But so is Vijay Singh and gone. So he wants to be number one. Well, that's what these players are playing for. You hear them say these days they don't think a great deal, at least your everyday well-paid player doesn't think about the World Series cut. He thinks about a World Series ring. That's what he wants. The money isn't going to mean a thing to him because he's already made way over the limit to begin with. So
there were times, Bob.
But, of course, the clubhouse guys and the
equipment,
coaches and equipment people and everybody and the organization, they want it. It's promotional purposes and it's money in the pocket.
Extra revenue.
Yeah, well, that's why we're going to have the World Series in November one of these years. No, it's money driven. I'd like to mention too, John, about Cedar Rapids really has a good overall playoff record all time. 55-45 isn't bad, and it goes back to an era when I was a kid with my father and mother out at the Old Hill Park here in Cedar Rapids in 1939 through 42. At that time, and that's why Ollie Marquardt, who managed the Raiders in those days and is in the Cedar Rapids Baseball Hall of Fame, he won 3 playoff championships in that period of time and had a 19-9 playoff record, and he had the likes of Allie Reynolds, and he had the likes of Bob Hershey, and he had Ray Pote. He had a Mike Blazo as the catcher. Oh, a name I'll remember as long as I can, because what a name for a catcher, Mike Blazo. That tells you what he does when you pronounce his name without telling him what position.
Yeah, Blazo.
And had Mike Namick, who was a huge 6'8" right-handed pitcher, wild as a March hare, but he kept him loose down there. But those 3 playoff teams were about as good as it gets. And then you and I had gone over before Sasser's home run in the
from Labor Day. Yes.
Yeah.
Bob, a final thought on Allie Reynolds, because I was going to ask you or comment. In my opinion, the 2 best big game pitchers ever were Bob Gibson and Allie Reynolds. Allie Reynolds went on from those championship teams you mentioned in the late 30s and early 40s with Ollie Marquardt, and was probably the biggest big game pitcher for the Yankees in their history.
Yes, he was. And at that time, he was a member of the Cleveland Indians.
They called him Super Chief.
That's right. because he had come from the same area as some of the great Indian athletes and so on.
I've been told that after he retired, he didn't have to work a day.
He was the Jim Thorpe of baseball.
Well, and I've heard that he was the government settled with his tribe, and that he inherited a huge amount of land in Oklahoma that was rich in oil. Did you ever hear that about Allie?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he did great for himself.
Well, he had a lot of good paydays in New York too. For those days, had a very high leg kick. Almost kicked himself in the mouth.
Almost like Marischal?
Yeah, something. Yes.
Okay.
Very much like that.
Well, Bob Gibson and Allie Reynolds.
So we'll see if Bobby Maggs can start some kind of a run here tonight.
That'd be great. Now, Bob, Megan's going to help us with the starting lineup, but I welcome you, and Scott Unash may be joining us later, so feel free, Bob, at any time, whether it be the beginning of the game, middle. Scott may be here, but we'd love to have you come in and enjoy this game with our listeners if you'd like. Thank you so much for Brooks at bat, and let's hope, like you said, Bobby can start a run, and we can do it again next week, because the playoffs, if we do it next week, we'll be in the finals.
Hey, that sounds good, doesn't it?
That'll take
and it's only a week.
That's right, guys. It's only a week. Bob, thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Bob Brooks at bat, our dugout interview guest. Well, here we are with our chance to even the series at a game apiece. We've designated Megan Comenda on her final days and her final evening as a Colonel broadcast assistant as our lucky charm tonight. Megan and I will be back in a minute. Megan will set the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup, and I'll have the LumberKings starting 9. This is Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Hey, everybody, so get on down to Hometown Restyling. Hometown Restyling. For all your remodeling needs, satisfaction guaranteed. Hometown Restyling specializes in all of your home's interior, exterior needs. Visit our showrooms, one in Hiawatha, one in Coralville, and see the incredible possibilities. Windows, siding, sunrooms. Give us a call at 378-1221.
It's amazing how much things can change in a day, or how much they can change in one night. Get ready to try Day Fresh beer from Budweiser. It's beer bottled less than 24 hours ago, and our Day Fresh beer crew is bringing it to bars and nightclubs in select cities everywhere. So look for them, and your chance to try beer that's so fresh, it's making every other beer seem so, yesterday. Day Fresh beer from Budweiser, because fresh beer tastes better. Budweiser beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
That'd be great. Bob Brooks letting us know he will likely return. So will Scott Unash. Right now, down below, a special pregame ceremony. And Megan Comenda, you were at Clinton's Alliant Energy Field last night, and you saw that both teams were introduced in a first-class style, like a good Major League World Series game. They're introduced from each dugout. The LumberKings are being introduced now, and we really need a big boost from our crowd tonight.
Yes, we do, John, and let's hope that as many Colonel fans that can will be at the stadium this evening to cheer our players on to a win so we can have a noon game tomorrow.
That's what we're shooting for, Game 3, with a must-win tonight. I'll set the starting lineups for the visiting LumberKings, and Megan Comenda, our broadcast assistant, will have the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup. Both lineups are different than last night's series opener. Dane Bubella in right field will lead it off for the visiting LumberKings. Bubella in right. Batting second, the shortstop. He played third last night, Abigail Sandoval. Micah Furtado, the second baseman, the heart and soul, the leader of this Clinton Ball Club. Their leading hitter at 303 will bat third and play second base. The 5'7" Hawaiian, Micah Furtado. Josh Cruiser, among the league leaders in doubles with 34, will be the cleanup batter at first base. The Colonels held him in check last night in Clinton. Larry Grayson was 0 for 4 for the LumberKings. He's in center field batting fifth. The star for the LumberKings last night offensively was Kevin Richardson. He drove in all 3 Clinton runs. He's batting sixth. He caught last night. Richardson is the DH this evening. In left field, he didn't play in last night's series opener, Andrew Wishy. Wishy will bat seventh. Hitting eighth and catching is Cody Clark. Cody Clark will catch and hit eighth for Clinton. And batting ninth, he didn't play last night, Emerson Frostad. Frostad is at third base, a left-handed batter batting ninth. On the hill for the LumberKings is a 23-year-old lefty who's been spectacular the last 5 weeks. It's Brian Mattoon. He's 23 years old. He's from Lemoyne University, and he was a 14th-round pick, was this lefty, by the Rangers last year. Brian Mattoon, 11-6, a 2.87 ERA, 20 starts as a LumberKing, 12 in relief. And in his last 5 starts, Mattoon has given up 7 runs in 30 innings. Brian Mattoon has given up just 7 runs in 30 innings in his last 5 starts. Well, you can hear the crowd perking up as public address announcer Dale Brote starts to introduce the Colonel reserves, followed by the starters. Megan Comenda, hopefully in her last evening as a Colonel broadcast assistant, will help us even this best of 3 at a game apiece. Megan, you have the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup.
Yes, I do. Ryan Leahy is leading off and playing third base tonight for the Colonels. Batting second in the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup, Midwest League batting champion Howie Kendrick. Howie is playing second base this evening. Blake Balcom had one of the Colonel 4 singles in last night's defeat in Clinton. Blake is in right field and will hit third. The cleanup man this evening is catcher Michael Collins. Baltazar Lopez will play first base in the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup and bat fifth. The designated hitter for the Colonels tonight is Warner Madrigal. Warner bats sixth. Australian silver medalist in the Athens Olympic Games baseball competition, Nick Kimpton, will be in left field and hit seventh. Colonel All-Star shortstop Brandon Wood has sparkled in the field and struggled at the plate the last few weeks. Brandon is batting eighth in the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup. Switch hitting center fielder Quan Cosby will hit ninth. Rounding out the Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup, on the mound, 23-year-old right-hander Chris Hunter. Chris was 9-7 in 22 starts during the regular season, having a 3.86 earned run average. None of Chris's 22 starts came against Clinton.
Well, that's our Allen Motor Company Colonel starting lineup. Megan, thank you so much. Allen Motor Company, a long time backer of the Colonels, and proud to bring you this playoff game, Game 2 starting lineup. The Colonels continue to be introduced along the first base line, and a good-sized crowd continues to file in here on this delightfully cool Thursday night. Our umpiring crew is brought to us by Anderson & Brown Eye Care. Anderson & Brown Eye Care is your family eye care center. Anderson & Brown Eye Care is great with children. Anderson & Brown Eye Care, our area's leader in ocular health prevention and management. Proud to present our Anderson & Brown umpiring crew. Greg Tucker will call the balls and strikes. And on the diamond is Corey Blosser. The Colonels have a different look tonight, Megan, and hopefully the uniforms will make a difference. Why don't you go ahead and describe how each team is attired this evening?
Well, the Colonels are in their crisp white uniforms with red lettering and their home caps with blue and red bills. And Clinton this evening is wearing their gray uniforms, green lettering, and their black caps.
And both teams a radically different look from last night. The LumberKings wore their black knit batting practice tops. The Colonels their red knit batting practice tops. And let's listen to the fans as they give the Colonels a rousing ovation, a deserved round of applause for a ball club that's given us so many thrills this season, and hopefully more to come starting this evening. A color guard is now heading towards the middle of the diamond. And this is the American Legion Post from Fairfax presenting the colors. The former servicemen are in black jackets, black pants, black shoes, a gold stripe running up their black pants, and they have on black berets. They're carrying the American flag as well as a blue American Legion flag. They're in front of the mound facing both squads as they're lined up along the first and third base sides. Here's the Star-Spangled Banner, introduced to us by Wendy's and then public address announcer Dale Brote. It'll be played by the Linmar Faculty Trumpet Quartet, led by Al Naylor.
Linmar Faculty Trumpet Quartet, all 5 members, Christy Colton, Steve King, Kevin McKinster, Steve Stickney, and Al Naylor are music teachers in the Linmar District. This arrangement composed by Al Naylor for tonight's game, first God Bless America, and then the national anthem.
The national anthem from the Linmar Quintet, led by Al Naylor. They've played the Star-Spangled Banner, and now I believe they're going to play God Bless America, or they're leaving the diamond now. So the colors will be retired by the American Legion Post from Fairfax, and on this beautiful Thursday night, some white clouds above with pale blue skies, and the lights are on here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Kernels hope to send it to Game 3, which would be at noon tomorrow. A big, big challenge for this ball club that was shut out on just 4 hits last night in Clinton by the LumberKings. Clinton, the hotter of the two teams, has beaten the Kernels now 4 straight times, but all those games were at Alliant Energy Field. They're on our diamond this evening. We're glad you're with us. Kernel Baseball is next on The Zone.
Been looking to buy a used car, truck, or van? If so, head to Select Auto now. All vehicles are priced to sell with bottom line pricing. Monthly bills getting you down? Can't afford the car of your dreams? No problem. Select Auto offers payment plans to fit around your budget. Select Auto also offers great warranties on all cars, not to mention their experienced and friendly staff in their full-service service department. Hate being chased around the lot by those annoying salespeople? At Select Auto, you won't be bothered by any salespeople. You deal directly with the owners. Got bad credit? Not a problem. They offer financing for any credit, good or bad. Still not sold? Purchase any used car over $5,000 and get $200 in free gas at any Handy Mart. Hurry in. This deal only lasts through the month of July. What are you waiting for? Visit either of Select Auto's 2 convenient locations on 1st Avenue, downtown Cedar Rapids, or on 7th Avenue in Marion. Select Auto, a great way to buy a pre-owned car.
Before the Kernels take the field in those crisp white home uniforms that Colonel broadcast assistant Megan Comenda described, Megan, there were 3 other games last night in the Midwest League, and they all involved intrastate rivalries.
Yes, they did, John. Peoria played at Kane County last night, and Peoria won that game 3-2 in 12 innings. Peoria is leading 1-0. In the Eastern Division, West Michigan played at Lansing, and West Michigan won 5-0. South Bend played at Fort Wayne last night, and South Bend took that game 4-2.
So all of those series will be tonight, as well as our game here. The Kernels, led by starter Chris Hunter, out to the diamond. Look at Ryan Leahy. Megan, describe to our listeners, I'm glad he's in the lineup tonight.
He has the heart and the passion to win this. He is in it.
Yes, he is. Leahy's in it to win it. Another aspect of the playoffs that we haven't described yet, and Megan, you've done such a great job on the setting here. It reminds me of the All-Star game. We have a special painted item out in center field.
Yes, we do, John. It looks just like the All-Star game with a big white star painted in center field. Hopefully that'll bring us some luck this evening.
Well, or inspire us both, hopefully a little bit of both. Chris Hunter's last start came way back on Monday, August 30th in Fort Wayne. He missed his start. They rested him for this game, too. And in Fort Wayne on Monday the 30th, Hunter pitched 5 innings in a Kernel 3-1 loss to the Wizards, gave Fort Wayne 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 3, walked 3. As Megan said, Chris Hunter has not faced Clinton this season. He's 9-7 with a 3.86 ERA and 22 starts. The LumberKings will have Dane Bubella, Abigail Sandoval, and Micah Furtado to face the Kernel right-hander here in the top of the first inning. Defensively, the Kernels go with Kimpton, the silver medal winner from Australia in the Athens Olympic Games. Kimpton in left, Quan Cosby in center, Blake Balcom in right. One of our spark plugs this evening, Ryan Leahy at third, Brandon Woods the shortstop, Howie Kendrick at second, and Baltazar Lopez at first. A battery of Chris Hunter and Michael Collins. Dane Bubella, the leadoff batter for the LumberKings, a left-handed hitter, and Dane was 0 for 3 last night. He walked in the 4th inning following the 2-run homer belted by Kevin Richardson that turned out to be the difference in the game, a 2-0 lead. The LumberKings won it 3-0. Bubella is not a big guy. He's 5'10". He was a 22nd round pick of the Rangers. He's from Houston, and he went to Rice University. Played with Spokane last year in 62 games. This left-handed batter hit .323. The sun comes out on the Kernel center fielder and right fielder Cosby and Balcom on this gorgeous Thursday evening. The game's first pitch. Strike one called on the outside corner from Chris Hunter to Dane Bubella. Dane, during the regular season, hit .251. Strike two called on the outside corner. And the Kernels hope to do something that's been awfully tough for them in the second half of the season, and that is gain a lead early on tonight. Bubella down on strike swinging. Well, that's the start that the Kernels and Chris Hunter wanted. A three-pitch strikeout of leadoff hitter Dane Bubella. Here's Abigail Sandoval, 22-year-old Venezuelan. Played third base last night. He's the shortstop this evening. Sandoval cracked a double over the head of Howie Kendrick into right center at Alliant Energy Field last night. He was 1 for 4. Abigail is a fourth-year pro, and ball one just misses inside from right-hander Chris Hunter. Outfield plays Sandoval straight away. What a night for baseball we have as a fastball dips down low, ball two. Chris Hunter's wearing a long-sleeve red shirt underneath his white uniform top, but he has the sleeves tucked in almost underneath the sleeves. The ground ball basted up the middle by Abigail Sandoval. Abigail Sandoval got ahead 2-0, and Megan, by the sound of the reaction from the crowd, there are some Clinton folks here tonight.
Yes, they made the drive just like we did last night, John.
I'd say we had over 120 of the 832 fans last night at Alliant Energy Field. At least an eighth of them were Kernel fans.
Oh, definitely.
Abigail Sandoval aboard. He had 8 steals and 14 tries in the regular season. Here's the guy that scares me the most in the Clinton lineup, Micah Furtado. He's the smallest man on the field, just 5'7". And he whistles one into center for a base hit. Going to second is Abigail Sandoval. Micah Furtado, as I said, the guy that makes the LumberKings click, the igniter, ripped the first pitch from Chris Hunter into center for the second straight single. Now the Kernels need a double play, pop-up or strikeout, with Josh Cruiser, the leading run or second leading run producer for Clinton, 65 RBIs. You can get him on a double play. Go ahead, Megan.
John, we have some fans hovering above the stadium watching the game that just came into play.
Oh, my goodness. That's an amazing sight that we'll have you explain. And they are hovering just for that purpose. Time was called, and I don't know who called it, but Hunter's pitch didn't count. It's a multicolored hot air balloon, yellow. Chris Hunter needs a strikeout, and his breaking pitch was high and in. 2-2 now to big Josh Cruiser. 2 hot air balloons, one now almost directly over the 30-foot high dark green net that serves as the batter's eye here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. The second one just above the tree lines down the right field line. A throw to second. Howie Kendrick snuck in to the left of the lead runner Sandoval, and Abigail got back in time. 2 on and 1 out for the LumberKings here in the top of the first inning. Josh Cruiser. Oh, the pitch hit him, or did it tip off his bat? The umpire's calling him out. We're going to have an argument. It was a check swing, and now the plate umpire, Megan's going to ask, Greg Tucker's going to ask his partner, Corey Blosser, and they're saying the batter struck out. He's saying he was hit by the pitch. And now he's pointing, Cruiser's pointing to his right forearm, And Carlos Subero is arguing with the plate umpire, Greg Tucker, and now Tucker's going to ask his partner, Corey Blosser, if he thinks that pitch struck Josh Cruiser, and Cruiser showing his manager where the pitch hit him.
John, a call like that in a game like this is very, very crucial.
Let's see which way it goes. Will Cruiser be awarded first and the bases loaded with one out, or will he be called out on strikes and bases first?
He's going to be called out, John.
Well, let's see. Here comes Greg Tucker down the third baseline, and he is giving the bad news to Josh Cruiser. Al Gruwell may have a take on this. Al's a local respected umpire. Al, why don't you jump on Megan's headset for a moment? Is the argument whether Cruiser swung or was hit by the pitch?
Well, I saw Tucker motion that he was swinging at the pitch, and if he swings at the pitch and it hits him, he's out.
Okay, so if you swing at a pitch and it hits you, you're still out for swinging.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Okay, Al, thank you. Now wait a minute.
Now he's letting him hit again.
I wonder if he said the pitch hit the bat.
Well, no. The only thing I can think of is if he says he didn't swing, but he motioned that he'd swung.
Oh boy, now controversy. The plate umpire calls time. Al Gruwell, I don't know if Cruiser's the Kernels aren't arguing, so Cruiser.
No, Bobby must have saw him. He must have saw him hit him and didn't think he swung at it.
Or the pitch hit his bat.
I didn't hear it hit bat.
Here's the 2-2 with 2 on and 1 out from Hunter. In the dirt, what a block by Michael Collins, a changeup, and now the count full to Josh Cruiser. Just what the Kernels were hoping to avoid here tonight, and that is the possibility of falling behind. Already a game down in this series, on the brink of elimination, and they've run the count full, has Chris Hunter to Josh Cruiser. I think that Sandoval and Furtado will be running on this 3-2 pitch. They're running! Swing and a miss! Throw to second, and it hit the runner. A run will score to make it 1-0. 1-0 LumberKings. Michael Collins threw to second, and it hit Micah Furtado. Abigail Sandoval scores to make it 1-0. Josh Cruiser swung and missed for strike 3, 2 out, and Michael Collins is charged with an error, and on the error, Micah Furtado hit by the throw by Collins. Furtado got up and went to third. Abigail Sandoval scored on the throwing error that hit the runner, and it's 1-0 Clinton. Here's Larry Grayson with 2 out. Takes a bunt and takes low. Well, doggone it, the Kernels have given up a run here in the top of the first inning and trail at 1-0. You knew the runners would be going on the 3-2 pitch. Cruiser struck out, but then the throw from Michael Collins hit Micah Furtado, went into shallow right field before Wood could retrieve it. Now Larry Grayson's ahead 2-0. Larry was 0 for 4 last night. He's a right-handed batter, hitting 5th in the order for Clinton. They lead at 1-0, and they have a runner at third with 2 out. Chris Hunter from the stretch, the 2-0. Bounce foul over the LumberKing third base dugout. Well, every LumberKing is up on the bench that is connected to the base of the dugout. They're standing on top of with their arms resting on the railing of the top of the dugout railing. Larry Grayson cuts on a changeup and misses strike 2. All the Kernels are on the edge of their seats as well, standing up, leaning over the railing of the first base dugout. 2-2 to Larry Grayson. Chris Hunter has had to make a lot of pitches here in the opening half inning. Fastball outside, and it's a full count now. Grayson had 9 homers, 39 RBIs during the regular season. Struck out his last 3 times up last night in Clinton. He's from Manatee Junior College in Florida. The payoff pitch. Ball 4, and the inning goes longer than we wanted it to. First and third, 2 out for trouble, Kevin Richardson. Kevin Richardson drove in all 3 LumberKing runs in their win last night, and Eric Bennett, Colonel pitching coach, is out to the mound to try to settle down 23-year-old right-hander Chris Hunter. Well, doggone it. The Kernels have fallen behind here 1-0, and Kevin Richardson, a .223 hitter during the regular season, but you wouldn't have known it last night. He drove in the first 2 runs of the game with a 2-out, 2-run homer in the 4th off Nick Touchstone. And then he put the icing on the cake for the LumberKings with a 2-out run-scoring double in the 8th inning off of Bob Zimmerman. Big Kevin Richardson, 6'2", 235, from Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington. Michael Collins with a throw to second trying to get Micah Furtado. He's in the middle of everything that Clinton does. That little 5'7" guy from Hawaii is the key to this LumberKing team. He sparks them. He's at third. The runner at first draws a throw. Larry Grayson back safely. Grayson looks like he's going to try to steal second. He's not. And a curve is a strike to big Kevin Richardson. A long, long, tough first inning for Chris Hunter. Hopefully the Kernels can make it just as arduous for lefty Brian Mattoon in the bottom of the first inning. Richardson lines one into the Papa John's Plaza, the aluminum-backed bleachers down the right field line, and Chris Hunter's ahead of Kevin Richardson, 0-2. This crowd continues to file in. We should have, hopefully, over 2,000 here tonight. We've got a ways to go to get there, but hopefully we'll get there. A fastball is upstairs to Kevin Richardson, ball 1. Clinton with a 39-31 record in the second half. The Kernels were 33-37. Runners at the corners, and Chris Hunter steps off the rubber, looks Micah Furtado back to third, and Larry Grayson back to first. Kernels have been in the field for a long time here in the top of the first inning. 1-0 LumberKings. A throw to first, and Grayson back standing up. Kevin Richardson, a straightaway stance, holds the bat like a Roman candle. Now time is called by the plate umpire, Greg Tucker. Hunter now comes set just above the belt. And Richardson takes a breaking pitch down and away, ball 2. Kevin last year played in 22 games as a LumberKing, hit 164. Big, tall, right-handed batter. Looks a lot bigger than 6'2". And he's down on strike swinging. Chris Hunter strikes out the side in the first inning. Chris Hunter strikes out the side, but the LumberKings score 1 run on 2 hits, 1 Kernel error, a double steal, and Clinton leaves a pair. After 1/2 innings, LumberKings 1, Kernels coming to bat. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Hey, man, what's up? Just getting ready to kick your butt. Right. And mess up your hair? You just wish you could look this good. Boo! Nothing but net. Hey, I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to make my hair look as good as yours. I mean, who has time to schedule an appointment, let alone show up for it? Not me. I just go to Cost Cutters. I can get in whenever it's convenient for me. Nice shot. Yeah. So you're telling me you just walk into Cost Cutters and come out looking good? Well, for some of us, that comes naturally. But Cost Cutters makes it easier. They can do anything you want. A cool cut, even some color, and get some of that styling gel stuff to keep you looking good. Like me. Oh, so that's why your hair never moves. Oh, you're funny. Cost Cutters. Thanks, man. This will save me some time. Great. Then you'll have time to work on your game. Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Are you a busy guy? Save yourself time and walk into one of our area's 12 Cost Cutters whenever it's convenient for you. Then relax, because Cost Cutters will make things easy and affordable for you.
Cost Cutters. Live your life. We always have time for your hair.
Who's that cool cooking man? King of the grill, who's your patio? Your patio. Charbroiled, custard dripping man with the buzz. Who's your patio? Your patio. The only good service comes number 1 for taste and fun.
Econo Foods is the place to save on Clement's fine products this week. Shop Econo Foods for hot pricing on Clement.
Right-hander Chris Hunter fanned the side in the top of the first, but the LumberKings sent 6 men to the plate and scored a run on 2 hits, a double steal, and a Kernel error. Ryan Leahy inserted into the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup tonight for his energy and his positive enthusiasm, and he takes high from lefty Brian Mattoon. Brian has had a fabulous last 6 weeks of the season. He's 11-6 with a 2.87 ERA, and his fastball is in for a strike, 1-1 to right-handed hitter Brian Mattoon, or right-handed hitter Ryan Leahy. Brian Mattoon pitched Saturday at John O'Donnell Stadium, and he slips in a changeup on the outside corner for strike 2 to Leahy. Mattoon's one of those guys, much like our Jamie Stewart from 2 years ago. In fact, they went to the same college. That is not a real hard thrower. A ground ball to third, knocked down, and the throw by the third baseman Frostad in time to get Leahy. Ryan Leahy grounded it to the left of Emerson Frostad. Frostad went down. The ball hit the heel of his mitt, rolled about 5 feet away from him to his left, but he was able to regain his composure, and his throw beat Leahy by a couple of steps at first, 1 away. 1-0 LumberKings, and a changeup is in from lefty Brian Mattoon to Howie Kendrick. The league's leading hitter. Howie was 0 for 4 last night. Mattoon is a 6'3 lefty, and a base hit to left by Howie Kendrick. Howie Kendrick grounded one sharply to the left of the diving Emerson Frostad, and the Kernels have a first-inning single and the tying run at first with only 1 out. The batter, Blake Balcom.
Right fielder, Blake Balcom.
Mattoon was a workhorse for the LumberKings this season. The southpaw pitched 131 2/3 innings, surrendered 137 hits in 131 2/3, struck out 88 in 131 2/3. And you talk about control. This southpaw Mattoon only walked 17 batters in 131 2/3 innings. Phenomenal control. Blake Balcom with Howie Kendrick at first. Takes just low, ball 1. Brian Mattoon is what you would refer to as a crafty left-hander. He's not going to overpower you, but he just gets you out consistently. Started last Saturday in Davenport, pitched 8 scoreless innings against the swing of the Quad Cities Saturday night in a LumberKing win over the swing. A high deep drive to left by Balcom. Way back, adios, out of here. 2-run homer, Blake Balcom. 2-run homer, Blake Balcom. And the Kernels have erased a LumberKing 1-0 lead. Blake Balcom, who had one of the 4 Kernel hits last night, has belted a 2-run shot here in the bottom of the first inning. And that gets the Kernel faithful excited. 2-1 Kernels here in the bottom of the first inning. Blake Balcom on a 1-0 pitch, ripped it over the left field wall, over the 8-foot-high green padded wall, over the Trivision sign, just to the right of the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM home run hot tub, and that catapults the Kernels into the lead, 2-1. Now Michael Collins, the Australian catcher, batting cleanup in the Allen Motor Company order. Fouls one away to the right, strike 1. Blake Balcom had 4 home runs in the regular season, and he touched one off here in the bottom of the first to give the Kernels the lead, 2-1. Fouling one back to the base of the backstop for strike 2 is Michael Collins. Michael, during the regular season, a .218 batter, a homer, 12 RBIs. He steps all the way out of the dirt batting circle. Blake Balcom follows Howie Kendrick's solid single to left with a home run over the left field wall. And the Kernels lead it 2-1. A ground ball up the middle and a diving try by Micah Furtado. He cannot get it. And a base hit by Michael Collins, the 3rd in a row off lefty Brian Mattoon. Blake Balcom's 2-run homer followed by a ground ball base hit through the middle by Michael Collins, the Kernel catcher. Collins' single came on an 0-2 pitch. Baltazar Lopez with the runner going. Swings and misses. The throw to second. Not in time. Michael Collins, an unlikely source of base-stealing prowess, has stolen second as Lopez took strike one on the outside corner. Baltazar was 0 for 4 last night. He struck out his first 3 times. And now a base hit by Baltazar Lopez would give the Kernels give them a 2-run lead. A shot, foul pass first. Lopez in the hole, 0-2. I mean, he teed off on an 0-1 pitch from the lefty Brian Mattoon and ripped it just foul past first into the Kernel right field bullpen. Leahy grounded out to third. Kendrick singled to left. Balcom belted a 2-run homer. Collins singled up the middle and stole second. It's 0-2 to left-handed hitting Baltazar Lopez. A nubber in front of the plate. It's a foul ball. Foul ball, according to Greg Tucker, springing out of his catching squat with Cody Clark to pounce on it, and it went just about 3 feet to the left of home plate. We have a very, very special guest listener who we'd like to welcome with open arms to our Kernel broadcast on the internet, and we'll make sure that she knows we know she's listening in a minute. Ooh, ball 1 low from Brian Mattoon. Brian Mattoon's mom is tuned in upstate New York. Mrs. Mattoon, it's great to have you with us here on the Zone, and welcome to our broadcast. We are glad you're part of the Kernel family tonight. Mrs. Mattoon, Brian Mattoon's mom, listening in upstate New York. Curve and a swing and a miss by Baltazar Lopez. Lopez fans for the 4th time in this series, and it'll be up to Warner Madrigal if the Kernels are going to add to their 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Always good to know that we have listeners from coast to coast and from both teams. And when the voice of the LumberKings, Chris Lake, let me know that Brian Mattoon's mom would be tuned in tonight up in upstate New York, that's a beautiful part of the country, I said, Chris, can I say hello to her in the very first inning? He said, sure. The LumberKings are going to walk Warner Madrigal to get to Nick Kimpton. Warner Madrigal is being put on here in the bottom of the 1st inning, and that is a surprise to intentionally walk a guy in the very 1st inning. But that's what the LumberKings are going to do out of respect to Warner Madrigal, who had one of the Kernel 4 singles last night, went 1 for 4. Here's ball 4 from Brian Mattoon. Brian Mattoon is really cut out of the same mold as a fellow Lemoyne University lefty we had 2 years ago, Jamie Stewart. Jamie was a control artist who got you out by making you hit his pitch, and that's exactly the kind of hurler 6'3" lefty Brian Mattoon is. His last name is spelled M-A-T-T-O-O-N, Mattoon. I mentioned earlier in the year there's a Mattoon, Illinois. This Mattoon, Brian, is from Liverpool, New York. And he went to Lemoyne University, same school, as I said, that produced our lefty 2 years ago, Jamie Stewart. A curve outside, ball 1 to Nick Kimpton. Kimpton hit .290 in the regular season in 37 games. No homers, 12 RBIs. The LumberKings walked Warner Madrigal to get to Nick Kimpton. Collins at second, Madrigal at first. Ball 2 is just low, a fastball from Mattoon. Well, our wishes come to fruition. The LumberKings made it awfully difficult on Kernel starter Chris Hunter in the top of this 1st inning, made him throw a lot of pitches, and the Kernels have done the same to southpaw Brian Mattoon. Ball 3 just below the knees. The LumberKings wanted the call, didn't get it from the plate umpire, Greg Tucker. It's 3-0 on Nick Kimpton. Will Bobby Magallanes turn Kimpton loose on this 3-0 delivery? I think he will. He did, and a line drive right at the right fielder to end the inning. Wow, Nick Kimpton hit a bullet to right to end the inning. A 3-0 pitch, and Kimpton crushed it, but lined it right at Dane Bubella for the final out of the 1st inning. Kernels strike for 2 runs on 3 base hits No Lumber King errors, a walk. The Kernels leave a pair, and the two-run homer with Howie Kendrick aboard by Blake Balcom has given the Kernels a 2-1 lead after one inning. You're enjoying Kernel baseball on the Zone.
Summertime means Kernels baseball. Sunlight until 9 o'clock. Watermelon and lemonade. Taking the kids to the swimming pool and a host of other leisurely pursuits. Comfort Solutions by Banks stands ready to ensure that your family stays cool when you're busy with all of your summer fun. Comfort Solutions by Banks are your indoor comfort specialists. With all of the fun activities that fill up your summer, it's comforting to know that the Comfort Solutions by Banks family can take care of your family. Comfort Solutions by Banks is proud to offer your family personal and caring service. If something goes unexpectedly wrong with your home's cooling system, you can count on Comfort Solutions by Banks to provide you with courteous and professional service under any circumstance. Enjoy your summer and let the family at Comfort Solutions by Banks take care of yours.
Emergency hotline, can I help you?
Yes, I need help.
All right, sir, what's the problem?
I can't taste my beer. I feel it in my mouth, but there's no taste.
Okay, sir, this is what I want you to do. Put the bottle down and step away from the beer.
Okay.
Walk straight to the corner store and pick up a 6-pack of Miller Lite.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's going to be all right.
Next time, try the light beer that actually tastes like beer. Great tasting, less spilling Miller Lite. Miller, good call.
Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Kernels after one inning, the lower third of the Lumber King order to face right-hander Chris Hunter, who fanned the side and gave up a run on 2 hits, a stolen base, and an error in the top of the first. Andrew Wishy takes ball one outside. Wishy, another big guy, 6'3", 225, out of the University of Arkansas. Andrew's a left-handed batter, and ball 2 is downstairs to Andrew Wishy. Andrew hit .255 in the regular season, leading the Lumber Kings in home runs with 14, RBIs with 69. A narrow stance, and ball 3 just outside from Chris Hunter, the Kernel right-hander. Blake Balcom belted a 2-run homer with Howie Kendrick aboard to erase the Lumber King 1-0 lead in the Kernel first inning. Strike one called from Chris Hunter, a backdoor curveball to Andrew Wishy. The sun is no longer a factor. Boy, it gets darker earlier, doesn't it, in September? Wishy chops one to short. The sure-handed Kernel All-Star shortstop, Brandon Wood, on to first for the first out of the second inning. Andrew Wishy is grounded out to short, one away for Cody Clark, the Lumber King catcher, along with Andrew Wishy, the man that just grounded to short. Cody Clark did not play last night. Neither did the on-deck hitter Emerson Frostad. The Kernels have 3 new men in their lineup: Leahy, Collins, and Kimpton. And the Lumber Kings counter with 3 new fellows in their batting order: Wishy, who just grounded to short; Cody Clark, who just took a strike; and the on-deck hitter Emerson Frostad. Cody Clark, a .229 batter during the regular season, looks at strike 2 on the inside corner. Cody's from Wichita State, and he played in 55 games with the Lumber Kings. 2 homers, 19 RBIs, a right-handed batter with a wide stance. Hunter wastes one upstairs. Chris Hunter pitched 135 and a third innings for the Kernels in his 22 starts, surrendering 129 hits in 135 and a third. A curve is chopped to third. Ryan Leahy charges, and in front of the base at third, wings the throw across the diamond. 2 away in the Clinton second inning. Cody Clark on a 1-2 pitch. Hit a Baltimore chop to shallow third. Charged by Leahy. 2 out. And the batter, Emerson Frostad. Frostad, from Lewis and Clark State in Idaho, is from Canada. He didn't play in the Ranger organization last year. That's because he honored a commitment to play for the Fairbanks Gold Panners in the Alaska Summer League. Ball 1 outside to Emerson. He shoots one foul over the third base stands, out of play. Well, since Brian Mattoon's mom, the Clinton starter, is tuned in New York, let's make sure she knows that the dimensions here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium are 315 down the left field line, a 16-foot high padded wall up to the Randy Keel Confidence Picnic Pavilion. 325 down the right field line, an 8-foot high green padded wall. Ball 2 upstairs to the left-handed hitter Frostad. He bounces one to the right side. Howie Kendrick glides to his left, tosses to first for the final out of the Clinton second inning. A 1-2-3 frame for right-hander Chris Hunter. Down in order go the LumberKings, and after an inning and a half, the Kernels lead Clinton 2-1. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
What's wrong with you, Bugsy? You look like you lost the roof over your head.
That's exactly what happened, Dollface. You see, we got another family trying to move into our territory. The termite family. They already ate my weekend hideaway, and they gotta be stopped before they take over the whole town.
Oh, Bugsy, they're so tough and mean. Don't go getting yourself hurt or nothing.
Don't you worry your pretty little head, Toots. I'll get someone else to do my dirty work. Someone I can trust to put the termite family out of business. Certified Pest and Termite Control. With Certified Pest and Termite Control, I know the termite family will be wearing cement shoes and sleeping with the fishes.
You can trust the experienced, fully licensed staff at Certified Pest and Termite Control. Certified offers guaranteed inspections and a 10% discount for seniors. For pest control service and supplies, look for the Giant Ant at 1141 16th Avenue Southwest in Cedar Rapids.
The Crown Plaza 5 Seasons is Cedar Rapids' exclusive downtown hotel. Make plans to experience a spectacular view from the top of the 5 restaurants. Start your day off with us for breakfast, or make a lasting impression on your business associates by treating them to our signature lunch buffet that changes daily. For any occasion, enjoy an elegant dinner or the Eddie Picard Jazz Trio in the city's only rooftop restaurant. The Crown Plaza 5 Seasons, top of the 5.
2-1 Kernels, the lower 2 in the Allen Motor Company Kernels starting lineup. Brandon Wood and Quan Cosby to face lefty Brian Mattoon here in the bottom of the second inning. Ball 1 outside to Brandon Wood. Woody, nothing for 3 last night, struck out 3 times. We need Brandon Wood to come alive with the bat again. Ball 2 floats outside. Mattoon's one of those lefties that gets you out by making you swing at his pitch. He does not overwhelm you with his fastball. Ball 3 is down and in to Brandon Wood, and Brandon's ahead 3-0. A right-handed hitter with a .251 average during the regular season. Brandon Wood takes a strike. He was taking all the way. In his last 5 starts, Mattoon 7 runs in 30 innings. Ball 4, down and into Brandon Wood. Brandon Wood is aboard, drawing a leadoff walk, and we've already seen a big improvement in terms of the Kernel approach at the plate from last night. The Kernels were free swinging, and already tonight the Kernels have drawn 2 walks in just an inning plus. Last night the Kernels only drew 1 walk and only had 5 base runners. Tonight the Kernels have already matched that total. They have their 5th base runner. We're only in the second inning. Cosby squares to bunt and takes strike 1 on the inside corner, a breaking pitch. Quan was 1 for 4 last night. He singled in the 3rd inning with 1 out, but then was picked off first base by starter and winner Jose Garcia. And man, was he something last night. He just completely handcuffed the Kernels. A changeup floats outside. It's 1-1 to Cosby. Brandon Wood was 21 for 26 in stolen base attempts during the regular season. He's being held by big Josh Cruiser at first base. Justin Bachman helping Brandon out with his strategy, leading off first base. A throw over there, and Brandon dives back in hand first. Bachman, an accomplished base stealer, is a 1996 Kernel. He swiped over 50 bases. The outfield plays Quan straight away. Shallow in center. Larry Grayson playing very shallow. Andrew Wishy playing at normal depth in left field. The 1-1 to Quan. Instead, Mattoon whisks the throw over to first, and Brandon Wood is back. Bryan, in 30 innings in his last 5 starts, giving up 7 runs on 28 hits, fanning 21 in 30 innings, walking only 5. Quan waits. There goes Wood. A pitch high. The throw to second. Brandon beats it. A stolen base for Brandon Wood. And the Kernels have a runner at second with nobody out. The stolen base for Brandon Wood gives Quan Cosby now a chance to adjust at the plate, do some retooling in his thinking. Quan will now try to hit the ball to the right side of the infield to get Brandon Wood over to third base. And that will likely mean the lefty Brian Mattoon for Clinton will jam Quan Cosby, try to get him to fist it to the left side. Quan bunts, and it's a terrific bunt. Mattoon spins, throws to first. Out! Quan Cosby with a brilliant sacrifice bunt. Brian Mattoon had to hustle in off the mound on the grass to the right of home plate. Oh, about 25 feet to the right of home plate. Quan Cosby was thrown out by the pitcher. A brilliant sacrifice by Quan Cosby. It went 1-3. Mattoon's throw was in the dirt, and Josh Cruiser made a whale of a pickup on that throw in the dirt. Now Ryan Leahy could give the Kernels a 2-run lead. Strike one called on the inside corner. The infield in for the LumberKings. Frostad at third, Sandoval at short, Furtado at second, and Cruiser at first. They're all in near the meeting of the dirt and grass on the infield. A breaking pitch almost hit the lower leg of Leahy, ball one. Ryan Leahy bounced out to third, opening the first for the Kernels. 2-1 Kernels, bottom of the second, and the Kernels have Brandon Wood at third with only one out. Leahy grounds a base hit through the hole, left side, into left field, 3-1 Kernels. Ryan Leahy grounded one sharply through the drawn-in left side of the LumberKing infield, plating Brandon Wood, and how's that for manufacturing a run? A walk, a stolen base, a sacrifice bunt by Cosby, got Wood to third, and Ryan Leahy delivered a ground ball sharply hit to the right of the diving shortstop Abigail Sandoval into left field. It's 3-1 Kernels here in the bottom of the second inning. That is fundamental execution at its best. You never know what's going to happen when Howie Kendrick steps in. Usually a booming crack of the bat and a base hit of some sort results. Howie at the plate. Ryan Leahy draws the throw. He's back to first base. Well, we said at the top of the broadcast, our Brooks at bat portion, that Bobby Nagayanis put in his high-energy guys. Leahy, Collins, and Kimpton, and they've all made a difference already. So is Howie Kendrick, who singled ahead of the 2-run homer by Balcom in the first. All one high and away, the Kernels being much more patient tonight than they were last night at Alliant Energy Field. Ryan Leahy, even with the infield drawn in, cracked it hard on the ground through the drawn-in LumberKing infield to plate Wood. It's 3-1 Kernels in the second inning. A pop-up into shallow center. Coming on is Larry Grayson. He's there and has it. Good pitch by Brian Mattoon. He got in on the thumbs of Howie Kendrick and jammed him, and Howie lofted it lazily into shallow center for the second out of the Kernels' second inning. Blake Balcom at the plate. First pitch to Blake Balcom. There goes the runner. It's a curve high. The throw to second. Leahy is out at second. Micah Furtado took the throw on the pitch high to Blake Balcom. It went catcher to second baseman. Leahy on a head-first slide was caught stealing. 2-4 to end the Kernels' second inning. In the second for the Kernels, one run on one hit, a walk, a stolen base, a sacrifice bunt. No LumberKing errors. The Kernels leave the bases empty. We go to the top of the third inning. A must-win for the Kernels. So far, so good. It's 3-1 Kernels. You're enjoying Kernel baseball on the Zone.
When a doctor or nurse gives you a shot, it may not be the most comforting experience. But just imagine the unexpected shock our waste handlers feel when they're stuck by a needle or syringe in the garbage or blue recycling box. Such an incident could result in serious injury and exposure to infectious disease. Protect our waste handlers. Dispose of needles and syringes in a sealed home sharps container or detergent bottle. Then take the sealed containers to the solid waste and recycling department. Remember, never put needles or syringes in your garbage or blue recycling box.
Benjamin Franklin once said,
"Glass, china, and reputation are easily cracked, but never well mended."
At Benjamin Franklin, the Punctual Plumber, we believe you deserve respect for favoring us with your business. We'll never forget that. That's why we do our best to give you service so special you'll want to tell your friends about it. We believe that honesty is the best policy. Benjamin Franklin said so.
You know it.
Our plumber will arrive at your house fully uniformed. You never have to wonder or fear who's at your door, because only the few, the best, and the talented can wear the Benjamin Franklin uniform. Our simple pricing system takes the panic out of calling a plumber. We give you the options first, and you grant approval before we do the work. There are never any surprises.
Splendid.
When we say we'll be there, or we'll give you a Benjamin Franklin, a $100 bill.
Benjamin Franklin, the Punctual Plumber.
For the visiting Clinton LumberKings, the Kernels on top, 3-1. Chris Hunter allowed a run on 2 singles, a stolen base, a double steal rather, and a throwing error, but struck out the side in the first, then retired the LumberKings lower third in order on ground balls in the second. Ball 1 is high to Dane Bubella. He struck out to start tonight's action. A check swing and a pitch high, according to the plate umpire, Greg Tucker. Well, we've said hello to Brian Mattoon, the Clinton starter's mom, and we say hello to Chris Hunter's family, listening in Utah. Chris fires high and away, 3-0 now to Dane Bubella. Chris's parents and his in-laws listen out in the beautiful state of Utah. A 4-pitch walk issued to left-handed batter Dane Bubella opens up the Clinton third inning. That's the last thing you'd expect from Chris Hunter, but you have to credit Dane Bubella. He never took the bat off his shoulder, and he's rewarded with a leadoff 4-pitch walk. Abigail Sandoval singled sharply on the ground into center and scored in the first inning. Sandoval now has 2 hits in this series. He's wearing a long-sleeve black shirt underneath his LumberKing gray road uniform. Right-handed batter. Bends back from a sharp yellow hammer, strike 1 called from Chris Hunter. He had Sandoval doing the limbo to get out of the way of that pitch. I wonder if they still do the limbo at children's birthday parties and field days at school. The limbo is where 2 kids hold a stick, a bamboo stick or a broomstick, any kind of pole, and they start holding it high above their heads, and then they incrementally move it down, and you have to see how flexible and agile you are to bend your way underneath the limbo stick. I could barely make it under at my age now if it was held 10 feet above the 2 holders' heads. That's how unflexible or inflexible I am. An 0-1 pitch is fouled into the screen, 0-2 to Abigail Sandoval. A chopper to short. Brandon Wood's only played a second. He gets the lead runner. Brandon Wood flung it to Howie Kendrick for the force of Dane Bubella. It went 6-4. Abigail Sandoval on an 0-2 pitch bounced it to short. A lot of air underneath the first hop, and that's why Brandon Wood did well to get that lead runner shortstop to second. Bubella wiped out at second. Reaching on a fielder's choice with 1 away now is Abigail Sandoval, the batter, Micah Furtado. Micah Furtado, just 5'7", but boy, does he pack a wallop. 303 hitter. And the pitch apparently low and in, and did it hit him? No, it goes past Michael Collins, and that's a wild pitch by Chris Hunter. The pitch was down and in, and it got by Collins for a wild pitch. I mean, when this Micah Furtado is involved in anything, things happen when he's around. He is a very, very pesky guy. You want him on your team as if he's a teammate, but you hate playing against him otherwise. He knocks one sharply to first, knocked down by Baltazar Lopez, and Baltazar then recovered and stepped on first Boy, Micah Furtado hit one very hard on the ground. It almost went right through Baltazar Lopez. Baltazar made a terrific play to knock it down right off his chest. And then he thought about underhanding to Chris Hunter, but took the play himself. 2 away, on to third goes Abigail Sandoval. Runner at third, 2 out. The batter for Clinton is Josh Cruiser. Cruiser struck out in the first inning. But on his strikeout, a double steal by Abigail Sandoval and Micah Furtado, and it resulted in Michael Collins throwing error. Collins threw to second trying to get Micah Furtado. His throw hit Furtado and ricocheted into shallow right center, and Abigail Sandoval, who stole third, came home to score on the throwing error by the Colonel catcher. Josh Cruiser with 2 out and a runner at third takes inside, ball 1. A one-hopper to Howie Kendrick at second, and Chris Hunter out of the inning. Josh Cruiser on a 1-0 pitch chops out to second to end the Clinton third inning. In the third, no runs for the LumberKings, no hits, a walk. There were no Colonel errors. Clinton leaves a runner. They've stranded 3. As the Colonels come to bat in the bottom of the third, they hold a 3-1 advantage over the LumberKings. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
If you don't stop by one of Jungi's 4 great locations, how will you know you got the very best deal? Stop in today at Jungi Lincoln Mercury Isuzu in Cedar Rapids, Jungi Ford and Jungi Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Center Point, and the new Jungi Chevrolet Pontiac in Anamosa. Now, 4 great locations. Still, one great name, Jungi.
Your home is a powerful asset. Managed wisely, it can help you with home improvements, tuition, and other expenses. Wells Fargo Home Equity Financing is the key. With flexible terms, competitive rates, and affordable payments. Our bankers have the knowledge and resources to help you find the best financing for your needs. Talk with a Wells Fargo banker today and see how home equity financing can help you reach your next stage. Wells Fargo, the next stage. Equal housing lender.
Dick Ramsey is the #1 home seller for the #1 real estate company, Skogman Realty. That means when you're marketing your home for sale or searching for the ideal home to buy, Dick Ramsey's home team will get you the results you deserve. Dick Ramsey's home team has the best deal going. Buy one of their homes, and Ramsey will buy yours. That's the winning edge Dick Ramsey's home team will deliver to you. Dick Ramsey, the #1 home seller for the #1 real estate company, Skogman Realty.
The plate when Ryan Leahy was gunned out by catcher Cody Clark trying to steal second to end the Colonel's second inning. A half swing by Balcom results in a strike from Brian Mattoon, the Clinton lefties 0-1 to Blake. Another foul towards Bobby Magallanes, the Colonel manager coaching at third. Blake Balcom, a 2-run homer in the first, erasing a LumberKing 1-0 lead. Bottom of the third inning. 3-1 Colonels. The LumberKings were a very good road team, as were the Colonels this season. Clinton was 38-30 on the road. The Colonels were 40-30 on the road. Clinton in the second half posted a 22-13 record on the road. The Colonels were 19-16 on the road. Ball 1 wasted outside from the southpaw. Now Mattoon delivers low. 2-2 to Blake Balcom. Colonels held to 4 hits and being shut out last night at Alliant Energy Field 3-0. Already have 4 hits tonight. Blake Balcom lifts one foul onto the Miller mezzanine terrace. We're hoping for over 2,000 here tonight. And I'm telling you, the folks that are here are having a lot of fun. Doesn't get any better than a must-win game at home. Balcom rips one foul off the railing of the third base LumberKing dugout. Count remains 2-2 to the Colonel #3 hitter. Colonel General Manager Jack Rader told us before the game he thought Blake Balcom would come up big in this series. He had one of the 4 Kernel hits last night, and he's done remarkably well already tonight. A high fly ball poked into left. Going back is Andrew Wishy in front of the warning track, and he has it. Blake Balcom golfed one high in the air to rather deep left for the first out of the Kernel third inning. One away. Sure was great to hear from Kernel host family coordinator Lanny Peterson on the dugout interview last night. Lanny, along with at least 100 other Kernel fans, made the 90-minute drive on Highway 30 to Clinton last night to root for the Kernels. Michael Collins hits a high fly ball out of play down the right field line. Michael was in the hole 0-2 in the first inning and stroked a single up the middle, then stole second but was stranded. Strike one to Michael Collins. A fastball from Mattoon inside for ball one. Brian Mattoon's one of those lefties who, when you watch from the stands, you think, oh, I could hit that guy. He doesn't overpower you. But then you get up there, and it's like trying to, well, let me put it this way. I think it was Willie Stargell who said of Sandy Koufax, it's like trying to hit him is like trying to drink coffee with a fork. Mattoon is not a flamethrower like Sandy Koufax. A broken bat looper into left is a base hit for Michael Collins. The Australian is 2 for 2. Michael Collins is 2 for 2. How about Michael Collins? Bobby Magallanes, living by the mantra that the hungrier fight, or the hunter fights hungrier when the hunter is hungry, and Michael Collins is hungry. So he's fighting hard. He's hungry for playing time. And the hunter fights hungrier when the hunter is hungry. Baltazar Lopez struck out his first time up. Michael Collins stroking a pitch into left over the head of the third baseman, Emerson Frostad. I think Michael hit it off the trademark. A base hit for Michael Collins. He's at first with one out here in the bottom of the third inning. 3-1 Kernels. Baltazar Lopez rips one foul straight back, strike one. Baltazar struck out in the first inning swinging. Lopez using a two-tone color bat, a white ash handle, a brown barrel. Baltazar, a left-handed hitter, facing southpaw Brian Mattoon. 400 feet to dead center here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. An 8-foot high green padded wall. The deepest part of the park, 407 to left center. A breaking pitch outside. 1-1 to Lopez. The scoreboard with the Rockwell Collins game link entertaining and showing highlights. The Kernel logo, the crest high above the scoreboard. That must be about 4 stories up. In right center field. A breaking pitch, swing and a miss by Lopez, strike two. Baltazar having a tough time making contact in this series. Struck out 3 times last night in the hole 1 and 2, but we fully expect Baltazar Lopez to be able to solve this Clinton pitcher, even though he's in the hole 1 and 2. Collins draws a throw, Michael back standing up. There are 6 giant backlit signs on the Rockwell Collins game link high above the right center field wall. The Gazette, KCRG TV9, Ahern Plumbing and Heating, the top 3 signs, and below them, Wells Fargo, U.S. Cellular, and Randy Keel Honda. Look out. Brian Mattoon throws one right in at the belt buckle of Lopez, and Baltazar was lucky to be able to jackknife out of the way of that 1-2 pitch. Count even now, 2-2 to Lopez. Let's see if Bobby Magallanes has Michael Collins running, with Josh Cruiser holding Collins at first, a big hole through that side. No, the runner doesn't go, and Baltazar Lopez hits a slow roller foul beyond the third base Clinton dugout. Brian Mattoon, a 6'3", 23-year-old right-hander, second-year professional. Comes set just above the letters and tosses to first. Michael Collins back safely. Lemoyne University is a member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAAC. Ball 3 in the dirt, and Lopez has had a very good at-bat. And when Brian Mattoon hurled for Lemoyne University, he was 10-4 in 14 games last year with a 2.95 ERA. Boy, how about that? Lopez lines a single into center. Larry Grayson gloves it and gets it back in, holding Michael Collins at second. What an at-bat for Baltazar Lopez. Patient, patient, patient. And on a 3-2 pitch, Lopez roped one into center, sending Collins to second base. First and second, one out. The batter, Warner Madrigal. The LumberKings walked him in the first inning. A lefty is headed down to the LumberKings bullpen, Craig Friedendahl. Craig Friedendahl is now headed down to warm up for Clinton. Lollipop curve of beauty, strike one called to Warner Madrigal. Madrigal walked intentionally in the first inning. He had one of the Colonel 4 hits last night in Clinton. Warner stands straight up from the right side and tops one foul toward the LumberKings third base dugout. Brian Mattoon is ahead of Warren Madrigal, 0-2. Madrigal has adjusted his batting stance since falling into a tailspin during the last week and a half of the season. Warner spread out at the plate and has very little bend in his knees. A ground ball to the left side. Through, past the diving Frosted. Collins wheeling around third. Michael crosses the plate, standing up. It's 4-1 Kernels here in the bottom of the third inning. Warner Madrigal on an 0-2 pitch grounded it sharply past the diving Emerson Frostad to Frostad's left into left field. Michael Collins carted all the way home, scored standing up on the RBI single by Warner Madrigal. It came on an 0-2 pitch, and it propels the Kernels into a 4-1 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Here comes the LumberKing pitching coach, Stan Hilton, out to the mound to talk it over with southpaw Brian Mattoon. 4-1 Kernels here in the bottom of the third inning. Warner Madrigal. A grounder to the left of Emerson Frostad into left field, scoring Michael Collins and making it 4-1 Kernels. Madrigal had a terrific at bat. He was in the hole 0-2. Baltazar Lopez had to stop at second. That's because Andrew Wishy, the left fielder, knew he had no play on Michael Collins, so he threw into the cutoff man, holding Lopez at second. Dan Hilton, the pitching coach of the LumberKings, in a black long sleeve windbreaker, a pullover top, and now the catcher, Cody Clark, steps out in front of the plate to flash some signals to his middle infielders. 4-1 Kernels, and the batter Nick Kimpton here in the bottom of the third. Nick lined out to right on a 3-0 pitch to end the Colonel first inning, and I mean, he hit a bullet into right field. A curve, and it's outside to Nick Kimpton, ball one. Action in the LumberKing bullpen. Lefty Craig Friedendahl. Megan Comenda, our broadcast assistant, has been down below to get a real feel for both the Colonel energy level and the crowd's enthusiasm. And Megan, what a different kind of aura or karma, if you will, tonight than last night.
Yes, there is, John. It's more upbeat. These guys are ready to go. They want this. You can feel it in the air.
You can feel it in the stadium, in the crowd.
A throw to second, and the lead runner Lopez gets back, and I can't help but think putting the three new energizers, Leahy, Collins, and the batter Kimpton into the lineup, that has made a big difference already.
Yes, it has.
Leahy has an RBI single, Collins 2 for 2. Let's see what Nick Kimpton can do. Curve and a swing and a miss, strike 2. This crowd has grown just like we hoped it would. There was some sort of harrowing accident on I-380 at H Avenue, and Megan, you heard from our guard down below, Orvie, who greets all the suite holders going up the elevator, that it even had things. There goes the runner from second, a swing and a miss to throw to third, and they called him out. Bobby Magallanes all over Corey Blosser. Listen to the crowd. They called Lopez out, and Megan, if we replayed the tape, you would hear, justly so, you saying, and then the out call. He was safe.
He was safe.
Bobby has every right to be arguing the call of Corey Blosser. It looked like Lopez was well underneath the tag of the third baseman Emerson Frostad, but a strike him out, throw him out double play ends the Kernel third inning.
Well, now Chris Hunter needs to make this a 1-2-3 inning.
You're exactly right, Megan. That's what the job of the starting pitcher is. When your teammates up your lead by 3 runs now, 4-1 Kernels, you have to hold the other team the next half inning. Megan will be along in just a moment. She'll check in with Mike Kuhlbeck, our Director of Public Relations and Marketing, to get our first look at not only the State Farm Major League scoreboard, but hopefully Mike will have for us any time our first look at Game 2s around the league in the Midwest League playoffs. After, in the Kernel third, 1 run on 3 hits. There were no LumberKing errors. A strike him out, throw him out double play going 2-5 ends the Kernel third inning. We go to the fourth, and the Kernels lead LumberKings 4-1. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Multitasking is today's buzzword. We're parents, employees, board members, spouses, caregivers. The list goes on. Your local Pekin Insurance Agency, Sheets Forest Draper Insurance in Marion, is great at multitasking, too. Sheets Forest Draper will find the right insurance coverages for you. See Scott Draper of Sheets Forest Draper for coverages on your home, auto, life, health, and business. Finding the right insurance is one less task for you to do when you depend on your hometown professionals with Pekin Insurance.
Coffee works when it's important to you. Coffee works, let your work shine through.
When you think of copies, think of CopyWorks. High-speed copying, color copies, oversized copies, manuals, booklets, graphic design, posters, banners, and presentations. CopyWorks does it better. When it's important to you, CopyWorks lets your work shine through. When you think of copies, think of CopyWorks.
When it comes to fun in the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, nothing compares to the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub. As you bask in the soothing comfort of the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub, you'll be taking in the action from a breathtaking perch just above the left field wall. Register for your chance to be drawn as the winner of the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub by visiting Westdale Mall.
Chris Hunter behind 2-1, and Larry Grayson hammers one over the head of Ryan Leahy, and Grayson is singled to start the Clinton fourth inning. 4-1 Kernels. Larry Grayson got ahead 2-1 and ripped one over the head of Ryan Leahy for the third hit of the night for the LumberKings. A very controversial call ending the Kernel third inning. A double steal attempt with Lopez lighting out for third and Madrigal to second. Nick Kimpton struck out, and then a throw from Cody Clark to the third baseman Frostad appeared to be late, but the base umpire, Cody Blosser, called the runner Lopez out at third, and so a double play, a strike him out, throw him out double play ended the Kernel third inning. Ball one is inside to Kevin Richardson, who drove in all 3 Clinton runs last night. Kevin, a right-handed batter, takes strike one called on the inside corner, 1-1 to Kevin Richardson. We will have a Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question for you in the 6th inning. We want to keep that great tradition going during the postseason. Richardson fouls one over the backstop. He had a good cut at it. All the games in the Midwest League are intrastate rivalries. We're here in Indiana. Fort Wayne is playing in South Bend. In Michigan, the Whitecaps from Grand Rapids are playing in Lansing. And in the state of Illinois, the King County Cougars, down a game to Peoria, are hosting the Chiefs tonight. Ball 2 just missed inside to Kevin Richardson. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Chris Hunter challenged the big guy with a chin-high fastball and blew it right by Kevin Richardson. The first strikeout for Chris Hunter since he fanned the side in the first inning. 4-1 Kernels, and the batter, Andrew Wishy, with 1 on, 1 out. Wishy started the second inning by getting ahead 3-0 in the count and then grounding out to short on a 3-1 pitch. The Kernel outfield plays this left-handed slugger who led Clinton in homers and RBIs straight away. Hunter fires a strike on the outside corner. Our Anderson and Brown umpiring duo, Greg Tucker behind the plate and Corey Blosser on the diamond. They're in gray trousers and navy blue tops. Swing and a miss on a changeup. And Andrew Wishy is in the hole, 0-2. If a game 3 is in order, that is if the Kernels win tonight, game 3 will be played at noon tomorrow, a noon start. Swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout of Andrew Wishy by Chris Hunter. Hunter has fanned both Richardson and Wishy, getting them swinging, and after the leadoff single by Larry Grayson, the next 2 LumberKings have fanned. The batter is the catcher, Cody Clark. Cody bounced out to shallow third his first time up. Clark, a right-handed hitting catcher with a .229 average in the regular season. Whistles one into right center. Can Quan cut it off? Yes, he does. And on to third with 2 out, motors Larry Grayson. Cody Clark hammers a single into right center. Quan Cosby had to move quickly to his left to prevent it from going in the gap. And now Emerson Frostad stands in with runners at first and third and 2 out. Cody Clark gives the LumberKings a big lift with his .229 average as he drilled a single into right center. Emerson Frostad bounced out to second to end the LumberKings second inning. Top of the 4th, 4-1 Kernels. Kernels have out-hit the LumberKings 7-4. Frostad stands straight away from the left side. He fakes a bunt, strike 1. That must have been a safety squeeze called for by 32-year-old Venezuelan manager Carlos Subero. Carlos played 4 seasons in the Kansas City system, then spent time playing as a Pirate and Ranger minor leaguer. He's from Caracas, Venezuela, the manager of the LumberKings coaching at third. An 0-1 delivery is skied foul into the 7th row of the premier seats, the red seats, above the LumberKing third base dugout. 0-2 to Emerson Frostad. Chris Hunter making a bid to strike out the side for the second time tonight. He's working with runners at first and third, 2 out in the LumberKing 4th inning. Kernels with a 3-run lead, 4-1. Emerson takes a curve in the dirt for a ball. Now Hunter is set at the belt. A broken bat looper into left. Nick Kimpton a couple of steps in to make the grab. Emerson Frostad flies to shallow left. How about Chris Hunter coming up big for the Kernels through 4 innings? No runs for Clinton. 2 hits in the 4th for the LumberKings. No Colonel errors. The visitors leave a pair and have stranded 5. After 3.5, Kernels 4, Clinton 1. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Fairing Homes is having a huge fall home reduction sale. Stop in and take a tour of our large inventory of custom-built modular and manufactured homes. Get great deals on any of our ranches, 2-stories, split levels, A-frames, duplexes, and apartments. At Fairing Homes, we offer a one-on-one approach to custom high-end modular housing. We are a full general contractor, and we take care of all phases of the construction process. We even do garages, decks, foundations, and sunrooms. Send us a blueprint, and we can have an estimate bid back to you in 5 days. From complete financial services to statewide delivery and setup of our homes, you'll love our services and our attention to detail. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on a modular or manufactured home at our huge fall home reduction sale. Fairing Homes, a trusted name in eastern Iowa since 1946. In Center Point, just 15 miles north of Cedar Rapids on I-380, exit 35. Fairing Homes. Compare the value. You can see the difference.
Advanced Systems, the leader in office technology, is like a great baseball coach when it comes to office productivity. Advanced Systems makes the most of your team. They do it with the latest technology for office productivity from Canon. They're also like a great trainer. Advanced Systems Advanced Life Support makes sure your office equipment runs at peak levels and fixes it fast if things go wrong. Hit it over the fence with Canon technology from Advanced Systems. Call 832-8291.
Business for the 21st century with Advanced Systems.
Left-hander Craig Friedendahl, southpaw Craig Friedendahl, 6'4", 22 years old, from Cowley County Community College in Kansas, has taken over on the hill for the LumberKings here in the Kernel, bottom of the 4th inning. Brian Mattoon, the southpaw from upstate New York, 3 innings pitched, 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. Craig Friedendahl, tall southpaw. On in relief to face the Kernels and Brandon Wood. A change-up at the knees on the outside edge. Strike 1. Brandon walked, stole second, advanced to third on a bunt from Quan Cosby, a sacrifice bunt, and scored on Leahy's single through the drawn-in infield of the LumberKings in the Kernels' 2nd inning. A change-up and a swing and a miss. 0-2 to Brandon Wood. Craig Friedendahl delivers just outside, ball 1. He was 5-3 in 36 relief appearances for Clinton in the regular season. 5-3, a 4.87 ERA. Brandon, a right-handed hitting all-star shortstop, lifts one foul, and there will be a play in front of the Kernel dugout for Josh Cruiser. Cruiser on the grass, gloves it for the first out of the 4th inning. Brandon Wood is fouled out to first, 1 away in the Kernel 4th inning. Craig Friedendahl had pitched 61 innings in relief for Clinton, gave up 65 hits in 61 innings, struck out 49, walked 24. The league hit 277 against him. Bob Brooks stepped to the plate with us before this critical game 2. Brooks at bat, and Bob promised he'd drop in to visit with you great Kernel fans. And Bob, I understand the atmosphere down below is very upbeat and there's positive energy down there.
Seems to be. I've been down right behind home plate, and yes, I think that...
Wow, a line drive bullet and a lunging stab to rob Cosby of a double by Emerson Frostad. Bob, that's as hard as Quan's hit a ball all season. He hit a rocket and was robbed at third by Frostad.
That was a major league defensive play, too.
Wow, lunging to his right.
Scott Rowland of the St. Louis Cardinals could make that play, but not too many others.
Not too many others is right. Cosby had a base hit taken away from him on a flying stab at third to his right by Frostad. Now a ground ball sharply hit by Leahy, gloved by Craig Friedendahl, and Friedendahl is just what the LumberKings ordered in terms of keeping them right in this game. He retires the Kernels in order in the bottom of the 4th inning. Leahy gone on a comebacker. The Kernels go in order for the first time tonight at hands of lefty reliever Craig Friedendahl. Bob is going to receive some scores shortly, hopefully, from Mike Kuhlbeck, our Director of Marketing and Public Relations. We'll try to keep you abreast on how the other Midwest League games in the playoffs are going, as well as the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Everything looking good through 4 tonight. The Kernels in a must-win situation lead the LumberKings after 4-1. And you're tuned to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
When a doctor or nurse gives you a shot, it may not be the most comforting experience. But just imagine the unexpected shock our waste handlers feel when they're stuck by a needle or syringe in the garbage or blue recycling box. Such an incident could result in serious injury and exposure to infectious disease. Protect our waste handlers. Dispose of needles and syringes in a sealed home sharps container or detergent bottle. Then take the sealed containers to the solid waste and recycling department. Remember, never put needles or syringes in your garbage or blue recycling box.
Solo Mexico, her voice soars above a sweet Spanish guitar. And I get like Dr. Pepper, originality made her a star. The taste of Dr. Pepper, the taste of originality, the roots individuality, and gives life a personality. Be you, do what you do. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. And then you find a stage, a child came of age with a song of passion from the heart. And everyone could tell Anna Gabrielle was an original from the start. The taste of Dr. Pepper, the taste of originality, the roots individuality, and gives life a personality. You do what you do. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do.
Chris Hunter facing the top of the LumberKing order in the top of the 5th inning. 4-1 Kernels, ball one outside to Dane Bubella, who walked on 4 pitches to open up the 3rd. He cuts on a fastball and misses strike 1. Bob Brooks is with us, and Bob, it was interesting hearing you talk about your parents taking you to Old Hill Park, which I believe a ground ball or a line drive off the glove of Hunter, backhanded play at second by Kendrick, and Bob Howie came straight over the top with his peg because he had a long throw from the middle of the diamond. He gets Dane Bubella.
Well, so far it's been good pitching, good hitting, and good fielding. So,
boy, I think
you don't want any more than that. And Cedar Rapids, I was going to make a comment too, John.
Sure.
That, the Kernels came out in the very first inning, last half of the first inning, and started to sting the baseball. And even with the outs they made in the last half of the 4th inning, the ball was hit hard.
Yes,
So
it was.
They're making good contact.
Very, very good point, Bob. In stark contrast to last night, the Kernels really did not make good contact all night long against those 2 LumberKing right-handers. Stepping into an 0-1 pitch and popping it foul off to the right, going in the hole 0-2, Abigail Sandoval. Bob, when your parents took you to Old Hill Park, first of all, was it located where Roosevelt Middle School is now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they would take you there, and you mentioned seeing Ollie Marquardt's phenomenal playoff teams, a ground ball knocked down by Chris Hunter. He can't find the handle. He throws out. Phenomenal play by Hunter. Bob, he's taken 2 hits away from LumberKing batters. He's taken 2 hits away from the LumberKings, helping himself.
Looks like Greg Maddox out there. He's fielding his position to go along with his good pitching. A little shaky in the first inning, but he was throwing hard, not locating, but he got it going, got in the groove, and now he has, they like to talk these days about command. He has the command of the pitch.
Boy, Chris Hunter has taken 2 hits away from the LumberKings. Now Micah Furtado takes high. I'll get my question out soon, Bob. Hill Park, your parents took you there to see the Rockets, I believe, in the late 30s and early 40s.
Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
A ground ball to the right side. Howie Kendrick, great range, throws for Stella right in time. And the Kernels have thrown the gloves at the LumberKings here in the top of the 5th inning. What a play by Kendrick, ranging far to his left. And the Kernels look like their old selves in the dugout, hammering each other on the head and high-fiving. What defense by the Kernels in the top of the 5th inning. Micah Furtado robbed of a hit through the right side. Great range shown by Howie Kendrick to Rob Furtado of a 2-out hit. We'll pick it up with Bob in the bottom of the 5th. I will get my question out to him about Hill Park and the playoffs that he saw as a boy, featuring Ollie Marquardt and the Cedar Rapids Raiders. Down in order go the LumberKings on 3 great plays, 2 by Chris Hunter, 1 by Howie Kendrick to end the top of the 5th inning. And after 4.5, the Kernels maintain a 4-1 lead over Clinton. You're enjoying Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
At Zimmerman's, we believe that the voice of the customer speaks the loudest. Let's hear what our customers have to say.
We chose Zimmerman because our family has been buying cars. I guess we're probably the 3rd generation to buy cars here at Zimmerman's.
Our family's bought 18 cars at Zimmerman's. 18. I ought to get a little bonus or something, wouldn't it?
We build our reputation on one satisfied customer at a time. On behalf of everyone at Zimmerman's, I want to thank you for your business.
People say that I can't decide things. They are so wrong, but I could be wrong about that.
A U.S. Bank check card with checking that pays gives you a choice of rewards, like cash, points for merchandise and gift certificates, World Perks miles, or even sweepstakes entries.
Easy decision. I'll take the cash. No, it's a sweep.
Sign up at your local U.S. Bank or call 1-800-720-BANK.
I've made up my mind to put off my decision. That is final.
U.S. Bank.
No, wait.
See banker for complete details. Member FDIC.
Winning requires determination, energy, power. At Alliant Energy, we know the power of teamwork. Our team gives its all every day to deliver reliable power to you. We're committed to meet the growing needs of our customers. Delivering safe and environmentally friendly energy keeps us focused. Our dedication to serve our customers keeps us on our game. And that's a winning combination.
Alliant Energy, we're on for you.
2 of a best of 3 with Clinton ahead in the series 1-0. Bat in the bottom of the 5th. Howie Kendrick's in the hole facing lefty Craig Freidendahl. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Howie chops one past the hill. The second baseman, Micah Furtado, double clutches, and that cost him, Bob. Kendrick is safe. Will it be, well, did Furtado double clutch on purpose, or why did it get stuck in his glove?
It looked to me like he lost control of the baseball for a moment. He started to throw it, but figured he didn't have a good handle on it, and then clutched it, and too late. Howie legged it out. That's another reason you had 355 plus.
Putting the ball in play and hustling. Now, no error has been charged to Micah Furtado. They've ruled it an infield single. That surprises me a little bit. An infield single for Howie Kendrick, but even Bobby Magallanes said earlier this summer on the Ask the Manager show that if in doubt, the home scorer should always favor the home team. And that's, if in doubt, that was Bobby's key.
What if you don't like the player?
Well, then you're in trouble. Bob, it's funny you mention that. I didn't realize that at the big leagues now, there are 3 official scorekeepers, and they quorum and take a vote. It used to not be that way.
No.
And oftentimes the official scorer was the local scribe who covered the team, and you bring up a valid point. If he didn't like you, he took it out on you from the press box.
Yes, sir. And then they argue and get into fights.
On the train or in the clubhouse?
Oh, yeah. And one of the reasons like the fellow from the Chicago Tribune or the Daily News or whatever, Sun-Times or whatever paper, big league paper you want to talk about, the reason he wanted to be the official scorer, the pay was good.
Oh, is that right?
So the ball club paid the official scorer, who in turn promoted the team in the paper.
Well, that's, I guess, one grease palm deserves another.
Another thing they did in those days.
As Blake Balcom bunts, and this is going to be a base hit. No play for the third baseman crossed that. He came rushing in, tried to barehand it. Blake Balcom sparking this Kernel team. A 2-run homer in the first. A bunt single perfectly laid down up the line at third. And it's ironic, Bob, that Jack Rader, the Kernel general manager, told me hours before today, he said, John, Blake Balcom's going to get this team and carry it a little bit on his shoulders. Blake is one of those guys that is a gamer.
Well, that's good to know because that's what the Cedar Rapids Kernels need. Right now, everything the Kernels are doing is golden.
And we deserve...
If they bunt, they move it up and get a hit.
Collins is 2 for 2. Let's see if Michael's swinging. He is, and a ball low, a fastball from Craig Freidendahl. Bob, you talked about the official scorer, and I didn't realize that they now have 3, and I hate to say this, but that's money-driven as well, not because the guys make a lot of money, but here's why I say it's money-driven. When an agent negotiates on behalf of the big leaguer now, he goes by statistics, and the official scorers, the 1-0 to Collins, swing and a miss by Michael, they weigh these decisions because the agents now are adamant about statistics. And it's used as a bargaining chip at the negotiating table, and it's unfair to put it on one guy.
And then, too, going back to the days of paying the sports writer to be the official scorer, the major league teams also carried the sports writers free of charge.
The runners go, and a chopper over the mound, leaping stab by the pitcher. Freidendahl helped himself, and he throws out Collins. But, Bob, as you said, everything golden. The runner sent by Bobby Magallanes, confident that Michael Collins would put the ball in play on the ground. That's exactly what Collins did. And in essence, he sacrificed. He moved the runners up. And now, with runners at second and third and only 1 out, Baltazar Lopez could add to the Colonel 4-1 lead. The infield in for the LumberKings. Boy, that was some piece of hitting by Michael Collins, tapping it over the hill. A good leaping play by the hurler Freidendahl to get Michael at first, but the runners move up. Kendrick to third, ball comes to second. Lopez fouls one straight back. He had his pitch. Bob, are you saying that the clubs would pay the official scorer, the newspaper writer who covered the team home and away, they would pay for his transportation or his meals and lodging?
Both.
Wow. That was a pretty sweet deal. I could see why the guys wanted to be the official.
Hey, papers, when the time came that they had to decide we go the other way, they resisted as long as they could.
Well, I could see that bordering on conflict of interest because the writer would feel he owed something to the team and would be less likely to criticize them. A curve is a strike to Lopez. We'll get back to Bob's.
Well, I want to talk about Lopez here because he's facing a left-hander. Let's see if he can get a little wood on the ball here.
The 0-2 with 2 on and 1 out, and he does. He got good wood on it, as a matter of fact, smacking one foul into the sweeps to our left. Bobby pointed out recently on the Ask the Manager show, Bob, that he believes in platooning if it is justified, and what he means by that, we have 2 left-handed hitters, Pauly and Lopez, who hit very well against lefties.
Well, then you might as well play him.
That's what Bobby does. He does not platoon. Another 0-2 from the tall lefty to the left-handed batter. Ball 1 inside. Had Lopez skipping out of the way. Bob, I'm told by Bud Curran that it was common for over 3/4 of the crowd that came to Hill Park to come by a streetcar. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
And Bud said the streetcar was only a quarter. That's pretty good price.
Might have even been a dime.
The 1-2 to Baltazar. Swing and a miss. A curveball. And Bob, unfortunately, Freidendahl got the better of Baltazar. It looked like a slow curveball or a changeup.
Yeah, he slipped it over the outside, let her high, and Baltazar Lopez, he decided that that looked good enough to swing at. He did.
Well,
nothing happened.
Now we need something that we got in the last regular season series here at home. Well, they're going to walk Madrigal to load the bases, and this surprises me, even though a lefty Kimpton's on deck. The LumberKings are showing the ultimate respect for Madrigal. For heaven's sakes, Bob, they walked him in the first inning to face Kimpton, and on a 3-0 pitch, Kimpton lined out to right. And I bet Nick Kimpton is so excited right now, the Australian silver medal winner in the Athens Games with his teammates in Greece. I bet Kimpton is just licking his chops saying, okay, guys, you want to pitch to me again? Here I come.
Well, on the Clinton side of the coin, a left-hander against a left-hander.
Sure.
This time they wanted to walk the right-handed batter. After all, it isn't Barry Bonds up there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
By the same token, they go the lefty-righty that is fashionable.
And
it's now the thing to do, and that's what Clinton has done. And now Kimpton will face the left-hander here in the last half of the fifth inning. 4-1, Kernels.
And the bases loaded, as Bob said, with the intentional walk to Madrigal. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kimpton is going to foil the strategy of the LumberKings. Frydendahl's first pitch to the Australian silver medal winner. A curve, a beauty, strike called. Boy,
at this level, left-handers can handle the left-handed fastball, but it's the other pitches that foul up the situation.
Nick waiting for the 0-1. Curve, and it's lofted foul, and he's in the hole 0-2. So far, the LumberKings strategy looks good. The lefty Frydendahl out in front of Nick Kimpton, 0-2, with the bases loaded, 2 out. Bottom of the fifth inning, 4-1 Kernels, and we'll have a Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question for you in the top of the sixth inning. The crowd comes alive.
Last pitch was a changeup. He tried to time it, missed it.
Curve in the dirt, and a block by Cody Clark on that pitch at Kimpton shoe tops, ball 1. Nick Kimpton is a fierce competitor. That's what flames, or that's what drives him. He loves to compete.
He's not going to get a fastball.
Curve in on his hands, and Nick fought it off and fouled it into the lawn section. Boy, Kimpton spoiled a very good pitch, Bob. He held his hands back on that changeup or curve and fought it off. Bases loaded. Kendrick at third. Balcom at second. Madrigal at first. 2 out. Bottom of the fifth. 4-1 Kernels. The lefty Frydendahl checks Balcom at second. Comes set at the letters. And the 1-2 to Nick. Ball 2. A fastball high and in. He doesn't want to go 3-2, Bob.
Oh, no, he doesn't. This is probably the most crucial pitch of this at-bat.
And perhaps the contest. The 2-2 with the bases loaded and 2 out to the Colonel, Nick Kimpton. Strokes foul down the left field line. Bob, whatever happens from here on in, Kimpton's had a whale of an at-bat. I still think he's going to come through. You get to know these guys on and off the field, and there are certain characteristics that they are born with and that they bring to the diamond, and Nick Kimpton's chief asset is his competitive desire.
All right, mate, hit it.
He did again, swatting it foul up into the third base stands. He fought off another pitch up and in.
His hands have to be stinging a little bit because he's getting the ball right in on the handle.
Craig Frydendahl working in relief of starter Brian Mattoon went to the rosin bag. He peers in to get his sign. Another 2-2 pitch with the bases loaded to the Colonel left fielder Kimpton. Here it is. Bounce foul onto the Colonel dugout. Kimpton has had a terrific at bat. Now the catcher Cody Clark out to the hill.
I would think we're up to about a dozen pitches, aren't we?
Up to at least that to Kimpton. You're right, Bob. It's 2-2, and he's fouled off at least 5. So yes, if the Colonels win here tonight, and that's a big I and a big F because we're only in the bottom of the fifth, leading 4-1, we would play at noon tomorrow. And that harkens back to the days when Bob and I snuck transistor radios into our classrooms in elementary school to listen to the World Series when there were no playoffs. The lefty checks Balcom. Another 2-2 to the Colonel Australian. A high fly ball into center straight away ends the inning. Well, Kimpton did everything but come through as he looped on into center for Larry Grayson to end the inning. So walking Madrigal does pay off for the visitors. No runs in the fifth for the Colonels. 2 hits, a walk. There were no LumberKing errors. The Colonels leave the bases loaded in a stranded 7.
Again, he tried to get an off-speed pitch and time it, and he undercut it, and that was the reason for the fly ball.
Well, we'll have our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question for you in the top of the sixth inning. After 5, Kernels lead Clinton 4-1. You're enjoying Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Unless you have a crystal ball that really works, nobody can foresee all the risks that might become realities. Most of us don't have a foolproof crystal ball, though. That's why it's sensible to consider the calamities that might occur to your car, home, business, or life, and insure yourself against the worst. See Phil Andrews, your Pekin insurance agent, about a well-planned insurance program for your individual needs. The future is uncertain. See your Pekin insurance agent, Phil Andrews, at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency.
When we met, expect we would never forget the Ojanos. Now it's where mi amore and I dine in. We carry out the lunch and the dinner all the time for lasagna, ravioli, mandacati, cannelloni, tortellini, or try their delicious salads and sub sandwiches too. The Ojanos is the hometown taste of Italy. For your next meal with friends and a family, remember the Ojanos with 5 convenient locations for the pasta that makes you sing.
Here's a fact about the new Veterans Memorial Stadium I bet you didn't know. All of the grounds surrounding our community's newest source of pride are maintained by Greg's Lawn Service. That's right, it's Greg's Lawn Service that provides you with that initial lift when you approach our magnificent new ballpark. Greg's Lawn Service can put their first-class signature on your yard, elevating it to the same immaculate condition you see around the stadium. Greg's Lawn Service, a cut above the rest since 1983.
Top of the sixth inning, Chris Hunter gave up a run on 2 hits in the first inning. The Kernels erased that early LumberKing lead when Blake Balcom belted a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first. Kernels got RBI singles from Leahy in the second, Madrigal in the third, and lead it 4-1. Top of the sixth inning, and the leadoff man for the LumberKings is their cleanup batter, Josh Cruiser. He's 0-for-2, and ball 1 is inside from Chris Hunter to Josh Cruiser. Cruiser, a 6'6" right-handed batter, hits one hard to third, off the glove of Leahy. Long throw to first past Lopez. Cruiser will keep going all the way to second, and it's going to be a throwing error by Ryan Leahy. We'll have to wait and see if that's a hit. I think it will be a hit for Cruiser. He hit it hard, Bob, and Leahy was very fortunate to block it with his glove. It then popped in the air, and Ryan's throw, had it been good, I think would have had Cruiser.
Yes, I think it would have had him by half a step, but the throw was wide and consequently went to the screen. Consequently, the runner at second on a hit and an error, and the Kernels bullpen starts to stir.
Aaron Pullen. It is a base hit for Cruiser and an error, a throwing error by Ryan Leahy. Larry Grayson takes inside, ball 1. 4-1 Kernels, but the LumberKings have a runner at second, an infield single for Cruiser, and then a throwing error by Ryan Leahy, the second Kernel error of this game. And Larry Grayson, who singled his last time up, is ahead 1-0. A curve inside, and it's 2-0. Chris Hunter has fallen behind Larry Grayson. We had 69 different Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question winners in the first half, or in the regular season. If you were one of those 69, please don't call in tonight. A ground ball base hit into left. Let's see if Cruiser is held or sent. Kimpton gets it back in good shape, and it's first and third, nobody out. First and third, nobody out. The Kernels facing a very, very tough jam now with Chris Hunter having to pitch to Kevin Richardson, who struck out twice. But remember, Richardson drove in all 3 runs last night for the LumberKings. Eric Bennett, the Kernel pitching coach, not out to the hill. As Bob noted, action in the Kernel bullpen, Aaron Pullen. Here comes Bobby Magallanes. Ordinarily, that means a hook or the pitcher coming out. Bob, what's your gut feeling? Is Chris Hunter giving everything he can?
I think they're going to make a change.
First and third, nobody out, and if Chris Hunter's lifted, you will hear a loud roar from this Kernel crowd. Reliable Aaron Pullen on the hill. It looks like Bobby may be talking to Hunter and asking him how he feels. Bobby ordinarily has his mind made up when he goes to the hill, and you're right, Bob. Bobby Magallanes is lifting Chris Hunter. Listen to the hand for Hunter. And Bob, look at that Colonel first base dugout. Aaron Pullen takes over, and Colonel broadcast assistant Megan Comenda is here to answer the phone for our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question. Here it is, your chance to earn a $5 gift certificate to the Springhouse. The all-time American League leader in pinch hits was a Detroit Tiger with the first name of Gates. Who was he? The all-time American League leader in pinch hits was a Detroit Tiger, and he went by the nickname or the name Gates. Who was he? 896-7589. 896-7589. 896-7589. Well, Megan Comenda was here, and I turned around, and she's disappeared on me, but give us a call anyway. The all-time American League leader in pinch hits played for Detroit from 1963 through 1975. His first name was Gates. Who was he? 896-7589. 896-7589. Bob, take it away.
Well, you have a call. Let's see if you have a winner. The fellow who he's talking about is Gates Brown, who was the pinch hitter for the Detroit Tigers, who had the most pinch hits. So if that is not correct, what? We shall see here in a moment. After 5, the Cedar Rapids Kernels lead 4-1, and now in the first half of the 6th inning, with runners at first and third and nobody out. A pitching change, and the LumberKings are trying to get back in this ball game, trailing by 3. We're going to get name, number, and story. I already told him on the air who it is.
Well, that's great, Bob. Poland's first pitch is outside. Bob, Paul Schutz would like just a word with you. Paul Schutz from Marion would like a quick word with you. He's our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question winner. The next pitch is fouled away by Kevin Richardson, 1-1. Ooh, the pitch hit him and the bases are loaded. Aaron Pullen hit the batter, Kevin Richardson, to load the bases. And as the Kernels face a bases loaded, nobody out jam now, Aaron Pullen hit Kevin Richardson. Well, Bob, Paul Schutz answered our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question correctly. Gates who?
Gates Brown.
Gates Brown. In 1969, went 18 for 39 as a pinch hitter for the Tigers, a .461 average, 107 pinch hits, 16 of them home runs. Aaron Pullen's pitch, a ground ball up the middle, a base hit, likely will make it a 2-run game. No, the throw home by Cosby over the head of the catcher, but Pullen backing it up. And now, Bob, we're in a heap of trouble. 4-2 Kernels, bases loaded for the LumberKings, still nobody out. Andrew Wishy grounding an Aaron Pullen pitch up the middle, past the diving shortstop, into center, and the bases are loaded. Josh Cruiser scored. Larry Grayson went to third. Kevin Richardson from first to second. Andrew Wishy a base hit up the middle, and now it's 4-2 Kernels, and the LumberKings have the bases loaded with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. And now Eric Bennett out to the hill. Well, this happened awfully quickly, Bob.
Yes, it did. And what started it was an error.
Yes.
Those are the things that usually spell some trouble in a playoff game or any other game. But tonight, of course, in a must-win situation when you have an error, why, then it is a magnified situation. So we shall see here.
Cody Clark
Pullen has got to button down the hatch this time.
Bases loaded. A curve high, ball 1. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the LumberKings are threatening to tie it here or even take the lead in the top of the sixth. A double play, pop-up, or strikeout is what Aaron Pullen desperately wants. Cody Clark takes a curve, a strike, 1-1. Andrew Wishy drove in a run against Pullen with a ground ball base hit up the middle. Aaron Pullen, an 8-game winner for the Kernels this year out of the bullpen. 8-2 with 2 saves. Ball 2 downstairs to Cody Clark, the catcher, from Aaron Pullen. Chris Hunter lifted after giving up back-to-back singles to start this Lumber King 6th inning. 4-2 Kernels, but Clinton has the bases loaded with nobody out. Ball 3 inside from Aaron Pullen. He's hit a batter and given up a single in relief of Chris Hunter. And now the Lumber Kings, with the bases loaded, have Cody Clark ahead, 3-1. Aaron's delivery. Strike 2 at the knees, a curveball. And now the game's biggest pitch coming up, Bob.
No question about it. Ball 3, strike 2. Pullen will have to get a ball in the strike zone here, no matter what.
A chopper to third. Leahy goes to second, out. That's all the Kernels get. Bases force out at second. It's 4-3. And I thought Bob Leahy was very calm and poised. A lot of times a guy immediately thinks double play, but that ball was hit high in the air, a chopper. No chance for a double play.
No, there wasn't.
Cody Clark drives in a run, forcing Wishy at second. It went 5-4. And now the Lumber Kings have Larry Grayson scored. Kevin Richardson went to third. It's a 4-3 game, and Clinton has runners at the corners with only 1 out. They could tie this game very easily here in the 6th inning. Aaron Pullen on in relief gets a force out off the bat of Cody Clark after falling behind him, 3-1. Frostad takes high, and Michael Collins was crossed up. At least it looked that way. Collins had to fling his glove high in the air at the last minute.
Well, this batter is only a .215 hitter, 6 home runs, 42 runs driven in, so
strike 1
he's
call.
A candidate for an out.
Let's hope he's a candidate, even Bob, for a double play. The Kernel infield is at double play depth, hoping to turn one that would keep them ahead in this game. 4-3 is our score now. Lumber King runners at first and third. Strike 2 called on the outside corner from Aaron Pullen to left-handed hitting Emerson Frostad.
Frostad didn't like it a bit.
He steps out. 1 out. Runners at the corners for the Lumber Kings, who trail now 4-3. Aaron Pullen would love a strikeout pop-up or double play. A ground ball base hit into right ties the game. We're tied at 4, and the Clinton fans come alive. How about Emerson Frostad? Number 9 hitter drilled one to the right on the ground of Lopez, scoring Kevin Richardson, and the Lumber Kings have tied this game, and they have runners at first and second with still only 1 out in the inning. Well, doggone it. Our bullpen, which was so good this season, has faltered a bit here tonight as Aaron Pullen has allowed 3 of the 4 batters he's faced to reach. And now the top of the order, Dane Bubella. It doesn't get any easier.
And no decision tonight for Hunter.
Oh, yes, that's right, Bob. We'll give you Chris's final line in a moment. Ball 1 outside.
And there is more action in the Kernels bullpen down the right field line.
Alan Buckley. 4-1 Kernels.
Might as well see them all tonight.
Oh, the lead is gone. It's 4-4. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits for the Lumber Kings. 4 hits for Clinton here in their 3-run 6th inning. A ground ball to Lopez. He boots it, picks it up, and will not make it to first in time. The Kernels are coming unraveled here in the 6th inning. An error on Baltazar Lopez loads the bases with only 1 out. That could have been a double play, but
you have to get 1 out.
Yeah, and
out of that play,
he
no
didn't
matter
get
what.
Baltazar lost the handle, then waved off Pullen, and the runner, or the batter, Bubella, beat him to the base. The Kernels coming unglued here in the 6th inning. Bases loaded, Still only one out. The second error of the inning. A sharply hit grounder. Baltazar gloved it, then dropped it, then picked it up, and could not get to first base before Dane Bubella. Bases loaded, one out. The LumberKings are poised to take the lead in this game now. Oh, the Kernels need an out or a double play to keep it tied.
Sandoval, a 234 hitter, takes inside low for a ball, and he's had 3 home runs and 30 runs driven in on a season. Certainly nothing that would make him a fearsome hitter there at the plate. But the ground balls that Clinton has hit in this inning, they've had eyes. They've just driven through the holes.
The batter tried to hold up. He couldn't on a curve, 1-1. Well, we still need at least an out. And the LumberKings have Clark at third, Frostad at second, Bubella at first. Aaron Pullen with the 1-1. Ground ball, double play ball to Kendrick. Can the Kernels get 2? Out at second, safe at first. Clinton leads 5-4. It wasn't hit, Bob, hard enough.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, boy. And the
took 3 hops to get to Howie Kendrick, and he had to hold up and make sure he got 1.
And that play went 4-6. Brandon Wood's throw to first was a good one, but not in time. Abigail Sandoval makes it 5-4 Clinton in the top of the 6th inning. The 9th man to bat for the LumberKings is the very guy you hate to see come up, their best hitter, their heart and soul, Micah Furtado. Can't believe the Kernels here at home have let a 4-1 lead slip away, but have to be cognizant that they're at home. They get the last at-bats, and they're only down by a run, but they desperately need to cut off this big LumberKings 6th inning right now. Right now, they need to cut it off. Strike 1 on the outside edge to Micah Furtado. Aaron Pullen hit the first batter he faced. Wishy grounded one up the middle. Cody Clark drove in a run with the fielder's choice. Frostad singled into right for an RBI. Bubella reached on an error, a run scored. Sandoval forced a runner. Now a swing and a miss by Furtado, strike 2. Aaron Pullen within 1 strike now of getting out of this nightmarish 6th inning. The LumberKings have struck for 4 runs and have surpassed the Kernels, leading at 5-4 now. Still can't believe this inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch to the 5'7" batter. A wild pitch makes it hit him. It hit him. Doggone it. How can you hit a guy on an 0-2 pitch? Brother.
Well, it gets a 300 hitter out of there.
Yeah, but on an 0-2 pitch, you're right, Bob. It gets him out of there, but
not well, however.
No. Bases loaded, and the guy that started it all with a hot smash off the glove of Ryan Leahy, Josh Cruiser, will bat for the 2nd time in this LumberKing 4-run 6th inning. Aaron Pullen's body language says it all, Bob. He is furious. He is steamed about this inning.
Well, you've got to settle back and get this guy, because right now he's the most important one.
That's exactly right. Forget about everything else that's gone wrong. A slider just missed outside. The Colonels asked the base umpire, Corey Blosser, if Cruiser went around. He did not, and ball 1. 5-4 LumberKings. It has been a horrific 6th inning for the Kernels.
287 hitter, 10 home runs, 65 ribbies.
Swing and a miss, strike 1. And 1 for 3 tonight, a leadoff single here in the 6th inning, and he scored one of the Clinton 4 runs. They lead it 5-4. You can just feel this one not slipping away, but certainly not. You can feel the momentum heading toward the Clinton dugout. Ball 2 inside to big Josh Cruiser with the bases loaded and 2 out. Look out here. Ball 3, a curve low.
He's missed with that curveball 3 times now over the outside corner.
Now
the LumberKings are draped all over the railing in front of the clubhouse dugout.
The 3-1 to Cruiser is swung on and fouled. Boy, did he come out of his shoes on that swing. And Aaron Pullen has now run the count full. Pullen in relief of starter Chris Hunter pitching to Josh Cruiser with the bases loaded, 2 out, and a 3-2 pitch The merry-go-round, the carousel will start for the LumberKings. Every runner will be off on this pitch, which will likely decide the game. A drive into the left field corner will empty the bases. 3 runs will score. 1 run is in, another man's in. Here comes the third man. A bases loaded 3-run double, and it looks like Clinton is on their way to a 2-game sweep of the Kernels. That was a crushing blow by Josh Cruiser. On a 3-2 pitch, he crushed it into the left field corner, emptying the bases, and Clinton is on their way to a 2-game sweep of the Kernels. They lead it now 8-4. Bob, too bad. The Kernels look like they were in the driver's seat, but the bottom has fallen out, and I don't really see how the Kernels, I'm hoping against hope, but how does the ball club rally now, down 8-4?
Well, you've got to get back and swing the bats. It's a 7-run inning so far for Clinton. And the pitching, of course, has collapsed here, and so is the defense somewhat.
Just a disastrous inning. Aaron Pullen is lifted, and don't blame Aaron Pullen for all of this damage done by the LumberKings. Alan Buckley takes over. The LumberKings have, as Bob said, struck for 7 runs. 7 runs in our home ballpark in the top of the 6th inning.
This has kind of been a microcosm of what the season has been.
You're right, Bob.
Cedar Rapids, a lot of good and a lot of bad.
You're absolutely right. I'm shell-shocked. I cannot believe you. We said this last night when the LumberKings won the first game. If they win this series, they are my prohibitive. I would lay big money down that they're going to win the Midwest League title. Bob, you can just feel it. They think when they take the field, they're going to win every game in the playoffs. That they have that aura about them. Cruiser crushed that 3-2 pitch.
All right, if you want to go along, I'll take the rest of the lead. You've got Clinton for a steak dinner.
You got it, Bob. I'll ride him all the way the next week. And I want to I don't want to sound too downtrodden.
They're not out of this yet, Cedar.
No, and I don't want to portray that. It's tough to swallow a 7-run inning at home, and the Kernels may very well be resilient enough to crawl off the canvas and fight back to a win here tonight. That's what we're hoping for. But it's been a crushing, disastrous 6th inning, and the 11th man to bat in this LumberKing inning is Larry Grayson. He'll face Alan Buckley. Alan pitching for the first time in this series, on in relief for Aaron Pullen. And again, Aaron Pullen certainly shouldn't take all of the brunt of the criticism. We're not here to pin Aaron Pullen. My goodness, his defense, as Bob said, just let him down in this 6th inning. Now, Grayson waits as Michael Collins out to the mound. And certainly, Bob, I'm glad you brought me back to my sentences. An 8-4 Clinton lead is not insurmountable. It's just a little bit discouraging right now.
Well, you still have 12 out.
That's right. You still have a long way to rally. But we need to get the last out of this 6th inning. Alan Buckley's curve inside to Larry Grayson. Josh Cruiser.
That would be a good idea.
We need to get that last out to keep it an 8-4 lead for the LumberKings.
This is the 10th man to bat in the 7-run inning.
Wow. A pitch gets by Michael Collins, and the Kernels continue to flounder here. On to third goes Josh Cruiser. I don't know how a club can come so undone as the Kernels have in this 6th inning. A wild pitch charge to Alan Buckley. On to third goes Josh Cruiser.
Well, they've done it in some games all year. Things go along, and then all of a sudden, whammo. But they've done it both ways.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable first half Kernels team that got 2-out hit after 2-out hit and finished 15 games over 500. The second half, the Kernels 4 games under 500. A number to Buckley. Allen has it, throws out the batter, and we're out of the inning. Larry Grayson taps out to the hill. And for Clinton in the 6th inning, 7 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, 2 Kernel errors, and Clinton leaves a runner. They've stranded 6. All right. Our one bad inning is out of our system tonight, hopefully. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Clinton leads it now 8-4, and you're tuned to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Checking out the classifieds?
Yeah, I'm tired of working at dead-end jobs. I want to work for a company that offers opportunity.
You know, I just got a job at Access Direct, and they're looking for people like you.
Really? What makes Access Direct so different?
I'm making $9 an hour, and I'll be getting a 50-cent increase within 6 months. Plus, there's always room for advancement.
How about benefits?
Access Direct has a full benefit package that includes 401k.
And vacations?
Access Direct offers 10 days vacation plus holidays.
Why am I looking in the classified?
Put that paper down.
Can we go to Access Direct right now so I can apply?
Let's go.
Don't settle for just any job. Find your future at Access Direct. You'll enjoy a relaxed, friendly work environment, and you'll work with great people just like yourself. Plus, you'll receive a competitive wage, benefits including 401k, 10 days vacation, and holidays off. Check out Access Direct today, corner of Wiley and Williams Boulevard, and just off the Coralville Strip in Coralville.
Knowing who you are is important. At Kirkwood Community College, we know who we are. We are accessibility. We are quality. We are opportunity. We are community. Who are you? We can help you learn. Kirkwood.edu.
We go to the bottom of the sixth, and the Kernels trying to stave off a two-game elimination sweep by the LumberKings, down 8-4 after giving up 7 in the top of this inning. The LumberKings are racing a 4-1 Kernel lead. Brandon Wood cuts on the first pitch from lefty Craig Freidendahl and fouls it over the backstop. Strike one. Brandon walked and stole second and scored in the second inning. That gave the Kernels, his run gave the Kernels a 3-1 lead. Fouled out to first his last time up. Woody corks one hard to third past Emerson Frostad. A leadoff single for Brandon Wood. That ball, Bob, just ate up Frostad. It'll be a base hit.
Yes, sir, and they continue to make good contact and get that ball in play. And Brandon, who's had a wonderful first year in professional baseball, he has struggled to get hits the last month, but this one was a good tonic for him.
And a super start for the Kernels in their comeback efforts. Juan Cosby, 0-for-1 with a sacrifice bunt, takes low, ball one. The final line on Aaron Pullen, 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits. He struck out none, walked none. He hit 2 batters.
And Clinton will warm up a couple of pitchers.
Yeah, they want to try to win this thing tonight and not even take a chance on a game 3. The 1-0 to Quan. Fouled into the screen right above the head of Ryan Leahy. Are the Kernels capable of rallying? Sure they are. Sure they are. And that's what we're hoping for. Would it
wonderful to see Dallas McPherson get called up by Anaheim.
Bob,
why did it take so long?
I know, but you've broken big news. I didn't realize that, and that is wonderful news. You've just made my whole night. Double play ball underneath the glove of the third baseman. Hit hard by Quan. Brandon Wood could not risk going to third. He stopped at second. That will likely be an error on Frostad, but Bob, it should have been a double play. However, Quan hit it hard.
Yes, sir. He made excellent bat contact.
It's an error on Emerson Frostad, and the Kernels have put their first 2 men on here in the bottom of the 6th. Bob brought me my senses back when he reminded a very discouraged and frustrated John Rogers that the Kernels had 4 more at-bats coming to them, 12 outs, and down by 4, the Kernels have runners at first and second, nobody out. And Bob, this is a tricky call for Bobby Magallanes. I would have Leahy bunt. A, to stay out of the double play, and B, this isn't the 8th or 9th inning, it's the 6th inning. Here comes Carlos Subera, and you said, Bob, that the LumberKings had 2 guys warming up in their bullpen. One of them is a tall right-hander, and I think Carlos Subera may make a pitching change right now with the Kernels threatening to take a chunk out of the 8-4 LumberKing lead. Subero, you could use a sundial to time him as he goes out to the mound. Well, Bob, that's great news about Dallas McPherson. And one thing that Bill Stoneman and Tony Regans have told us this summer, even though Dallas McPherson has torn up AA and AAA pitching this summer, Bill Stoneman is from the old school, and that is he doesn't want to bring somebody up too soon.
Well, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
But here is the season that McPherson had, both in AA and AAA, a combined .317 batting average. He had 165 hits, 40 home runs, 126 runs driven in 135 games. And you're still in the minors?
Now I see.
Give me a break.
Well, now I see your point, Bob. Dallas, interestingly enough, as Craig Freidendahl is lifted, Craig goes 2 innings plus, and so far no runs on 1, 2, 3 hits. He walked a batter, and he struck out a man. The new pitcher for Clinton is a right-hander, and we'll tell you about him in a moment. But, Bob, Dallas McPherson has never been to a big league game, and he told me 2 years ago on the dugout interview he wanted his first big league game to be the one that he came out of the Anaheim Angel dugout.
Well, that will happen. Interesting story about McPherson, though. I'm really kind of kidding about why they didn't call him up, but it's obvious they wanted him to have a great season where he was. But another story on this is that every trade that the Anaheim Angels tried to make to strengthen their team for this stretch run and the playoffs per se, ball clubs were only interested in one guy from the Anaheim organization, and it was Dallas McPherson. And the Angels were not going to trade him to get a rent-a-player for the playoffs.
And they were very tempted, and I'm glad Bill Stoneman...
I'm sure they were very tempted.
One of the big temptations was Randy Johnson.
Yep.
But I credit Bill Stoneman for looking beyond or seeing the big picture. Sure, he wants to win this year badly, but he was not going to mortgage his entire future in the person of Dallas McPherson or Jeff Mathis to do it. Chris Cordiero, Cordeiro from UCLA, a 6'3" right-hander, is on the hill for the Clinton LumberKings. And Bob, what do you think about the possibility of Leahy bunting?
Well, let's see what the fellow's throwing, first of all.
A ground ball, base hit into right. Here comes Brandon Wood, and Bobby holds him up. That surprised me a little bit. Bases loaded with nobody out. How about Ryan Leahy? He's 2 for 4. The bases are loaded with nobody out. And you know what happened when the LumberKings loaded the bases with nobody out in the top of this 6th inning. Big Josh Cruiser socked a 3-run bases clearing double to break the game open for the LumberKings. The bases are loaded with nobody out, and Howie Kendrick, the batter. Nobody the Kernels would rather have up now than Howie Kendrick.
There's your best.
A curve inside from Cordiero, ball 1. The Kernels are scrambling for their existence here tonight and trail 8-4, bottom of the 6th inning. They've loaded the bases with nobody out. Howie Kendrick is 2 for 4. Another foul hops over the shoulder of the catcher, Cody Clark, strike 1. 11 hits for the Kernels, 9 for the LumberKings. The difference in the game, 3 Kernel errors. Howie Kendrick battling right-hander Chris Cordiero.
And as you always love to say, the tying run is at the plate.
Isn't that the truth, Bob? The 1-1. A bouncer to third. Frostad steps on third, throws to first. I'll be darned, a double play. I'll be darned, a double play. Howie Kendrick bounces into a 5-3 double play.
But they get a run.
They get a run to make it 8-5. Ryan Leahy goes to second, and the Kernels need a 2-out hit from Blake Balcom, who's 2 for 3. Howie Kendrick bouncing into a 5-3 double play of all things and a run scores to make it 8-5. Can't forget that. And a base hit by Blake Balcom with 2 out would likely make it a 2-run game. Clinton now leads it 8-5. How about Chris Cordiero getting a .367 hitting Howie Kendrick to bounce into a 5-3 twin killing? Balcom a swing and a miss on a breaking pitch strike or a changeup, strike one on Blake.
That's exactly what Cordero did with Howie Kendrick. He took a little bit off of it. Kendrick was with the quick bat swung and tapped it and didn't get good wood.
Let's see if Blake Balcom can come through with Leahy at second. Ball one outside. Chris Cordiero, one of the best relievers for the LumberKings, 6 saves, a 5-4 record, a 3.14 ERA. He's on as the second relief pitcher for the LumberKings. They lead it 8-5. Runner at second, 2 out, bottom of the 6th inning. Blake Balcom on a 1-1 delivery. Takes it outside, ball 2. Mike Bettine, production director at the Zone and Channel 9, here with his young son. And Mike, I forgot your son's name. Colin is here with Mike Bettine, and Mike and Colin trying to help the Kernels keep this 6th inning rally alive. Swing and a miss by Blake, strike 2. And Cordiero took something off that pitch. Well, Bob, one thing we've learned from this Kernels 6th inning, they want to win this game. They did not roll over. Blake.
This is an old saw they like to say, too. There's plenty of time left.
The 2-2.
In a timeless game.
Pitch tomahawk to third. Frostad makes an outstanding pick and throws Blake out to end the inning. Well, we wished for more. We had the bases loaded with nobody out. Got a run in the 6th inning. 1 run for the Kernels on 2 hits. 1 LumberKing error, their first of the night. The Kernels leave 1 and have stranded 8. And after 6, it's Clinton 8, the Kernels 5. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Whether you're a serious athlete or a weekend warrior, injuries can take you out of your game. Smart athletes know that Physiotherapy Associates in Cedar Rapids are the experts in the treatment and prevention of sport-related injuries. Our expert staff serves the metro and surrounding area high school athletes. Physiotherapy Associates of Cedar Rapids, the smart choice in sports medicine. Call us at 398-1569. That's 398-1569. We'll get you back in your game today.
Traveling today can be somewhat hectic, even downright confusing at times. Why not let Tri-State Travel take all that frustration out of your travel plans? Whether you want to experience a cruise, enjoy a weekend getaway in Las Vegas, or just need to make airline, rental car, or hotel reservations, Tri-State Travel's Westdale Mall office can help. Our experienced staff can lower your travel stress levels so you can get more enjoyment out of your journey. Stop by Tri-State Travel's Westdale Mall office today and get ready to travel worry-free.
Hey, corporate employees and union members, too. Airport National 27-0 Public Golf Course in Cedar Rapids has an unbelievable new corporate union season pass special for you. 2 people for $300, 4 people for $250, 10 people or more for only $200 each. Add a spouse for only $125 or just $50 for each child. Airport National Public Golf is now accepting new corporate, charity, and church golf outings and leagues starting as low as only $11 per person. Holy sliced, Batman. Please visit us just 4 miles east of the Eastern Iowa Airport today.
After 6 innings, the Kernels down by 3, 8-5, led it 4-1 going into the top of the 6th inning. The LumberKings sent 11 men to the plate and scored 7 runs. And of the 8 LumberKing runs tonight, only 3 are earned. The Kernels making 3 errors, and the LumberKing error cost them a run in the Kernels 6th inning. We had the bases loaded, nobody out. Howie Kendrick at the plate, and I'll be darned, Chris Cordiero got him to bounce into a 5-3 double play, but a run scored, and now we try to keep the LumberKings from adding to their lead. Alan Buckley spins in a curve inside corner, strike one called to Kevin Richardson.
The third baseman for Clinton had a very interesting inning.
Yes, he did, Bob. Curve is a strike. He had hard balls hit to him, soft ones, bouncers, rollers, and
it was like he was on a merry-go-round out there. They spun him around twice, one time for an error, one time on a hit. Then he makes two good plays to end the inning with a double play and then a good pick at third. But he was a busy fellow.
Emerson Frostad is the third baseman. It was tested throughout that Colonel sixth. Alan Buckley's 1-2 pitch is upstairs, ball one. To Kevin Richardson, he was hit by a pitch. Aaron Pullen hit him to load the bases, and it was all downhill after that in the LumberKings 7 runs, 6th inning. We've out-hit the LumberKings 11-9. Alan Buckley's 2-2 pitch. Curve strike, 3 called. Kevin Richardson down on strike. Third time he struck out tonight. 1 gone in the top of the 7th inning.
That was an excellent pitching performance by Buckley. And the last pitch froze him.
Allen has been a real stalwart out of the Colonel bullpen this season. During the regular season, Allen was 3-1 with a save, a 4.04 ERA. He's a 6'6" right-hander from Mississippi. And ball one. Boy, Michael Collins is having a tough time catching some of these pitches now. Bob, have you noticed that? Was that one in the dirt?
I think the slider and knuckler, I think he's getting some of those pitches that are hard to handle.
There's another one off his mid, and I don't know if this is just a nervousness by Michael or if all of them are just tough to handle, but he's really kind of stabbing at the ball.
Well, too, he could be expecting one pitch and getting another.
Exactly. The 2-0 ripped into right. On the run is Blake Falcom, and he has it. Blake made a tough play look easy. I mean, Andrew Wishy really jumped on that 2-0 pitch and whistled it hard into right. Blake Falcom got on his horse and galloped quickly to his left to make the catch on the whistler off the bat of Andrew Wishy. 2 out in the top of the 7th as Alan Buckley continues to keep the Kernels in this game. It's 8-5 LumberKings. Here is Cody Clark. He knuckles one foul, strike one. Clark reached on a fielder's choice, drove in a run, and scored in the LumberKings 7-run 6th inning.
You know, John, it's funny what you remember from baseball. We were talking about the third baseman, Prested, and his antics in the last inning. Well, one day in Pittsburgh, I was listening to a Cub-Pirate game, and the Cedar Rapids man, Bert Wilson, who was known around here in those days as Bert Puckett, was doing the game. He was a long-time Cub announcer and great radio guy. And
the 0-2 from Buckley to Clark outside.
And the Pirates had a third baseman by the name of Whitey Wiedelman. He had a lousy day. He'd thrown the ball all over Old Forbes Field in Pittsburgh.
A high drive into right center is going to end the inning. We're going to keep it right here for Bob to tell this fun story about Bert Puckett, Bert Wilson, and Pirate third baseman Whitey Wiedelman. It was caught by Cody Clark's fly ball, caught by Balcom to end the Clinton 7th inning. Bob, go right ahead.
And Bert said at the end of the game, he said, well, the Cubs win this game mainly because of the errors made by Wiedelman at third. He said, Whitey Wiedelman, you've had a busy day.
Well, that was putting it kindly.
He said, Wiedelman, you've had a busy day.
Bob Brooks with us, and we're going to have the Linmar Brass Quartet led by Al Naylor play God Bless America. Hopefully, the baseball gods will bless the Kernels down the stretch. Facing elimination, the LumberKings lead the Kernels after 6.5, 8-5. This is Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Okay, so I'm dropping my daughter off at daycare, and as I'm walking out, I see myself in the double door. Uh-oh is right. My hair looks terrible. My ends are all scraggly, and my roots. Did you see my roots? I can't believe I've been walking around like this.
Have you tried cost cutters?
Oh, I'd love to get my hair done, but who has the time? With work and the kids, I barely have time to find matching socks, let alone time for my hair. Besides, I need the work.
Just go to Cost Cutters. They'll have you in and out looking great in no time.
Yeah?
Yeah. At Cost Cutters, the stylist will keep you looking great with a new cut, some color, even highlights. Check out mine.
Oh, so Cost Cutters is your secret.
Yep. I even get my favorite products there. You know, shampoo, conditioner.
That's it. I'm going to Cost Cutters.
Right now?
With my roots. Thank you.
There are a dozen Cost Cutters here in our area, each offering a relaxed, convenient hair care experience with no appointments and no hassles. Cost Cutters make things easy and affordable with professional stylists who care about you.
Cost Cutters. Live your life. We always have time for your hair.
Papa John's pizza, it's so good. Better is best, that's understood. Better call Papa John's tonight. Better call Papa, he's got it right. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Attention baseball fans, call your local Papa John's for our home run special. Get a large pizza with up to 3 toppings of your choice for only $9.99.
Papa John's. Better call Papa.
Let's listen in to the Linmar Quartet, led by Al Naylor, entertaining between the top and bottom of the 7th inning. Well, Bob Brooks, we're still in this thing, down 8-5, going to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Michael Collins, who has 2 of the Kernel 11 hits, will lead it off from his cleanup position. It'll be Collins, Lopez, and Madrigal, and the Kernels have to use the same philosophy as they did in the 6th inning. Although they'd like a big inning, they need to just keep in mind that 1 run an inning will do it. We score a run in the 7th, a run in the 8th, and a run in the 9th, we will tie this game.
Well, several things to consider here. One is you want to make sure the pitcher's throwing strikes. You don't want to take yourself out. You don't want to get cheated at the plate. Another thing is you've got to chip away at this 3-run deficit, and you've got 9 outs to do.
A ground ball up the middle, a good play to his left by Abigail Sandoval. First pitch swinging, Michael Collins is grounded out to short.
Now 8 outs.
Yes, the outs are precious now. 8-5 in favor of Clinton. They took advantage of 2 hit batsmen and 2 Kernel errors to score 7 runs in the 6th inning and erase a Kernel 4-1 lead. Baltazar Lopez has a hit in 3 trips tonight, facing Chris Cordiero, the right-hander, for the first time. Ball 1 is outside. Bob, is Bert Wilson still living?
No, he's not.
Did he ever do Blackhawk hockey, or was he strictly the Cub play-by-play man?
No, I think he only did the baseball games here as far as he did Iowa football.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
A line drive, and that typifies the Kernel luck in this game. A line drive by Lopez right at Josh Cruiser, and now you get the feeling that it is indeed the LumberKings series, as how can you hit a ball that hard right at a guy?
He was one of the great major league announcers. He was absolutely terrific. And it was in the day when he was, just like you, John, he was the only guy. Here you are up there in a doubleheader in Cincinnati, 18 innings, the temperature's 150, and you are it.
Well, that's
about 6.5 or 7 hours of baseball.
A looper back a second off the bat of Madrigal, and it's caught by Micah Furtado, and the Kernels go down on just 5 pitches in the bottom of the 7th inning. Warner Madrigal stroked it off the end of the bat and looped it to second, and it indeed looks like Clinton is going to advance in terms of the Kernel body language right now. We look like we may be kind of discouraged.
Well, they are swinging at those pitches early.
Yes.
And not working the count, and that
it's a bad omen.
That gets you out.
Sure does. Alan Buckley back to the hill, and Bob, I want to ask you a little bit more about Bert Wilson when we return for the top of the 8th. After 7, it's Clinton 8 and the Kernels 5. You're enjoying Kernel baseball on the Zone.
Peck's Flower Shop and Garden Center has some great late summer plant specials, perfect for the season. Selected groups of potted flowering shrubs, including lilacs, sand cherries, and many more, are 33% off the regular price. Clematis vines and ever-blooming carpet rose bushes are 25% off the regular price. Indoor house plants and hanging plants in 6-inch pots or larger, half off the regular price. And they're here. Fall blooming mum plants, just $8.99 a piece or 3 for $22.50. All sale items are cash and carry with no warranty. Shop now and save on some of your favorite plants at Peck's Flower Shop and Garden Center. Growing with the Cedar Rapids area since 1956. Peck's, at the corner of Blairster and Edgewood Roads Northeast. Visit their websites, pecksflorist.com or pecksgreenthumb.com.
Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees are proud to support one of our community's most renowned and cherished assets, the Cedar Rapids Kernels. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees believe in the core values that comprise the essence of Kernel baseball: fun, wholesome, affordable entertainment for us all. As you look ahead to the many joys of summer, your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees encourage you to visit the fabulous new Veterans Memorial Stadium. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees, embracing Kernel baseball, a community treasure.
9 o'clock, and you're enjoying Kernel Baseball with Bob Brooks, Hall of Famer, legendary sportscaster John Rogers, and the Kernels hoping to keep it a 3-run game as we go to the top of the 8th. Alan Buckley delivers a strike call to Emerson Frostad. Bob was talking about former Cedar Rapids broadcaster Bert Puckett, who, Bob, did he take the name Wilson as a stage name, or was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
And then a curve, strike 2. Boy, has Alan Buckley been the guy that has helped the Kernels stay in this game. He's retired 4 straight LumberKings. He's ahead of Emerson Frostad, 0-2. Top of the 8th. Clinton up by 3, and a swing and a miss by Emerson, strike 3. 1 away in the 8th inning. You were telling me between innings, Bob, that Bert Wilson was, well, a lot of men and women back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s were chain smokers, and Bert Wilson was no exception.
Unbelievable. He's the only fellow I ever knew who smoked a lot during a ball game.
Bob, could
now, Steve Stone is a very good cigar smoker, but he does it between innings.
Bob, could Wilson call the play-by-play with a cigarette dangling out of his?
Yep.
Wow. Ball one outside to Dane Bubella. A high deep drive way back. Quan may not get it. It is going to be over his head off the base of the 378 sign. And Dane Bubella has a one-out double. The first base runner to reach against Alan Buckley lashes a double into left center. Dane Bubella with the 10th hit of the night for the LumberKings. They lead it 8-5 in the top of the 8th inning. The Kernels will try to rally and set things up for a game 3 tomorrow at noon. But right now it looks rather bleak, to say the least. Abigail Sandoval is the batter. He's 1 for 4. Bob, did Bert Wilson, to your knowledge, ever write a book or keep a journal? I think it'd be fascinating to learn, or perhaps there are some tapes at the Smithsonian Institute. They have everything else at the Smithsonian. Is there any way that someone like myself or someone that didn't get to hear him, could we read about him or hear any of his broadcasts?
Well, I imagine in the city of Chicago they have a Hall of Fame broadcast of great broadcasters in the city of Chicago. And they have archives and memorabilia and so on. I have never been to it, but I would presume that there must be something.
Did you ever get to meet Bert?
Him? Oh, yes. I met him a couple times, yes.
Was he the kind of guy that is like you, that is so gracious and offers a warm hand of help, or was he a little bit more aloof?
No, he was more gracious than I am. No, he was just a nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a baseball man.
Well,
he had a wonderful voice for the game, a wonderful presentation, and as I told you, he recreated games on Cub off days. They had him working every single day, and He was the very best recreator of games.
A wild pitch by Alan Buckley gets through Michael Collins, or to his right, and on to third goes Dane Bubella. The wild pitch sends Bubella to third. Now the Colonel infield will have to come in for the play at the plate. 3-2 on Abigail Sandoval. 8-5 LumberKings, top of the 8th inning. Colonels led it 4-1 going into the fateful and dreadful top of the 6th inning when the LumberKings put a 7th spot on the board. Now the infield in as Abigail Sandoval waits for the payoff pitch from Colonel right-hander Alan Buckley. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Alan Buckley has been dynamite tonight. A big strikeout. Now he'll take his chances with the infield back against Micah Furtado, the 5'7" fire plug. Bob, I wonder if Bert Wilson... Well, first of all, I grew up in Cardinal country, and that's how Harry Carey became such a recognizable name, as he was part of a Cardinal network throughout Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, all points west. And Bert Wilson was probably part of a Cub radio network.
Oh, yes. Yes, he was. He started, there was a station in Chicago, WIND.
Yes.
And he was they fed the Cub games on the network. Yeah. Sure did.
I bet they went
a lot of times rode the board on Cub games that he was doing. Interesting that P.K. Wrigley in the 1930s allowed any station in Chicago to come out and do a Cub game.
And in that sense, Wrigley was a genius, and I'll tell you why in a moment, Bob. Ball 2 is outside to Micah Furtado. Most people, owners at that time, had the polar opposite philosophy. They didn't want their games on the radio.
No, they thought it hurt attendance.
Wow. So P.K. Wrigley had anybody who wanted to. You didn't have to pay a huge rights fee? Or...
Nope. I presume there was a small fee.
Sure.
But, I think they had 3 stations that did it: WGN, WMAQ, and WIND. I think that's just a guess on my part.
Well,
I don't know for sure. But
that's amazing. A curve is a strike called. It's 2-2 to Micah Furtado. Colonels trail by 3, bottom of the 8th or top of the 8th inning.
A very wonderful baseball man by the name of Hal Totten was was a play-by-play man for the Cubs in that era when they had all of those games, and he later became the president of the 3I League and lived in Cedar Rapids out on Blake Boulevard.
I'll pick up on that, Bob, because I remember the name Hal Totten. Oh, what a job by Alan Buckley. He gets Micah Furtado to fist one in the air outside third. A foul pop caught by Ryan Leahy. And Alan Buckley keeps the Colonels within striking distance after surrendering a one-out double and a wild pitch to Dane Bubella. No runs for the LumberKings in the 8th inning. 1 hit. Buckley struck out a pair. There were no Colonel errors, and Clinton leaves a runner. They've stranded 7. Well, we're down to 6 outs, and the Colonels are still hopeful of a rally here tonight on the verge of elimination. They'll face a new Clinton pitcher. And as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Clinton leads it 8-5. This is Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Okay, this kid's name is
When searching for a professional logistics team of experts to handle your warehousing operations, look to Worley Warehousing. Worley Warehousing will help you achieve greater efficiencies by providing superior warehouse facilities, technological advancements, and expert professionals. By focusing on technological innovations and keen foresight, Worley Warehousing has grown into one of our nation's leading warehousing operations. Worley Warehousing, your single source for all of your warehousing and distribution needs.
Faucets leaking, termites feasting, fishing, tackle, paints and spackle, tubs, jacuzzis, tapes and movies, everything from A to Z. Tile and lumber, tons of plumbers, elevators, coffee makers, radiators, party favors. Take a look and you'll see. Let your fingers do walking through yellow book. The other book.
When it comes to making their buying decisions, people today let their fingers do the walking through Yellow Book Yellow Pages. It's no wonder. Yellow Book's packed with money-saving coupons, restaurant menus, and vital community info. And with more ads than ever before, it has everything you need right at your fingertips. It's easy to spot. Just reach for the yellow directory with the map on the cover and join the smart shoppers who choose Yellow Book, not the other book. Put your business in Yellow Book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
Let your fingers do walking through Yellow Book, not the other book.
On here tonight, hopefully not the last game of the season, but the Kernels down 8-5 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and a right-hander out of Cal Berkeley, Jesse Ingram, is 1-1 on Nick Kimpton. Nick, 0-for-3 tonight. Ingram delivers low, ball 2. The Kernels still fighting, still hoping for the kind of inning that the LumberKings laid on us in the 6th, a 7-run frame. Jesse Ingram, a right-hander, 36th round pick by the Rangers this past June out of Cal Berkeley, delivers a change or a fastball is dribbled foul to the backstop, 2-2. Bob Brooks is alongside, and Bob was talking about Hal Totten, and Hal directed the 3-Eye League from his residence, Bob, or did he have an office in Cedar Rapids?
No, he did it from his home, yes.
Well, that's interesting. The 2-2. Strike 3 called from Jesse Ingram to Nick Kimpton, 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. Was Hal Totten the kind of guy like George Spelius is that did it kind of as a sportsman and took a salary, but certainly didn't? George derives his main source of income is his floral shop in Beloit. Was Hal Totten full-time at that time?
Well, he was a full-time president.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And did a very good job. His wife was the secretary, and it was a homey situation. But
sure.
He did very, very well. Was a very good baseball man. Had great major league stories, of course.
And was probably highly respected as with all that big league experience. Brandon Wood has had a great night. He scored twice for the Kernels. And ball 2 is low from Jesse Ingram. The Kernels trail in the bottom of the 8th, 8-5, have out-hit Clinton 11-10, and are on the verge of elimination. Have a chance, though, to rally. Have a chance. Can't ever forget that when there's a man at the plate, he's dangerous. Strike 1 laid in there by Jesse Ingram. Jesse's not a tall fella. He's a right-hander, and he takes over for Chris Cordiero. Cordiero, 2 innings, no runs, 1 hit, no strikeouts, no walks. The 2-1 to Brandon. Swing and a miss. A home run cut by the Colonel all-star shortstop.
Now, there's no reason to have a home run cut in a deal like this because you're 3 down, last of the 8th inning. The idea is to get on.
Get on base. Let's hope Brandon can do that for the 3rd time this evening. He corks one foul over the head of Bobby Magallanes, the Colonel manager. The crowd's quiet, still in a stunned state from the LumberKings 7-run 6th where they erased the Colonel 4-1 lead.
Yes, they're about as quiet tonight as they were in Chicago last night when they were getting shut out by Montreal.
Swing and a miss by Brandon on a off-speed pitch, strike 3, and there are 2 gone in the 8th inning. Well, Bob, you mentioned the Cubs, I believe, have a day off today, but then no more through not only the rest of the season, plus they have a couple of double headers.
Well, they play the Florida Marlins tomorrow in 2 games at Wrigley Field, starting at 1:20 and probably ending at 1:20 p.m. to a.m. And the Marlins lost today. The first game of the doubleheader, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated Houston, so scoreboard watching for the Cubs has been pretty good today.
And, Bob, you sprung the great...
And Pryor and Wood go tomorrow. That's about as good a doubleheader combination as you can get.
And the Marlins had a 9-game winning streak snapped today.
And Houston had a 12-game winning streak snapped.
A slow roller foul into the Colonel dugout, and it's 0-2 to Quan Cosby. Quan is 0 for 2. This has been a tale of 2 games. The Colonels won the first half 4-1. They trail the second half 7-1, and overall are down 8-5 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bob, you sprung the great news to our listeners about Dallas McPherson's promotion to the big leagues earlier today, and I'll pick up that thought in a moment about how it relates to the Cubs. Ball one outside from Ingram, wasted. The I-Cubs had a great year at AAA, and let's face it, the Cubs, the Chicago Cubs, are going to rely heavily on AAA talent from Des Moines.
Well, they have already this year in some cases, but also you take a look, it'll be interesting to see the makeup of the team next year, too, because it's a highly paid roster. Stars are all over the place there, and we'll see how many they keep.
Ball two, juts down and into Quan Cosby.
I imagine they'll keep most of them. The Tribunes open the purse strings this year.
A ground ball to second. Sliding over to his left is Micah Furtado. He flips to first, and the Kernels go in order in the bottom of the eighth inning. The Clinton LumberKings are 3 outs away from sweeping the Kernels 2 games in the best of this 3 series to open the playoffs. We go to the top of the 9th inning, and Clinton leads it 8-5. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Quiznos Kernels Kids Club members. Did you know that your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club membership card is good for more than just great deals at the ballpark? That's right. By showing your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club membership card at any of the Cedar Rapids Quiznos, you'll receive a free small drink when you buy a Quiznos sub. That's a free small drink with the purchase of a Quiznos sub when you show your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club card.
Quiznos, toasty.
Hi, this is Dave Town with Five Seasons Transportation and Parking. Do you ever wonder if it's safe to send your child on the bus? It is, and here's a few reasons why. All the buses in Cedar Rapids are equipped with security cameras, so the drivers always know what's happening behind them. The buses also have global positioning systems, or GPS, which means they can be tracked at any time by satellite. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't. Five Seasons Transportation takes safety very seriously, and we've taken many steps to make sure your child will have a safe, easy ride every time they take the bus. Even when your child isn't on the bus, Five Seasons Transportation is helping keep them safe by using pollution-free biodiesel and alcohol fuels, Iowa products that help keep the air clean. And if your child is ever in trouble, they can always flag down a bus for help. I'm Dave Town, and I like to think of the bus as a traveling safety cocoon, motoring along Cedar Rapids streets. And keep in mind, if the bus is that safe and easy for your child, maybe you should think about riding the bus to work. Affordable, convenient, and safe. That's the bus. Ride it.
Alan Buckley, the prime reason the Kernels trail only by 3 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Allen has worked 2 1/3 scoreless innings in relief of Aaron Pullen. The pitchers of record, Craig Freidendahl for the LumberKings, Aaron Pullen for the Kernels, 8-5 Clinton as we go to the top of the 9th inning. It'll be Josh Cruiser, Larry Grayson, and Kevin Richardson to face Alan Buckley. Looking ahead to the Kernel ninth, and a bright outlook it is. The top of the order will face, right now it looks like Jesse Ingram, the man who pitched the 8th inning. Alan Buckley with that dynamite curveball delivers strike one called to Josh Cruiser. 1,530 for this playoff game. 1,530. Clinton drew 832 last night. Over 100 of those fans were Kernel fans. Bob, it looks like you're doing some figuring on our attendance.
Yes, it takes me a while.
No, me too. You keep going with that math. A curve outside, 1-1 to Josh Cruiser. Biggest hit in this game, a 3-2 pitch from Aaron Pullen with the bases loaded, and Clinton leading 5-4 in the 6th inning, and he emptied the bases with a 3-run double into the left field corner.
No, what I was looking at were the attendance figures for the season and what has happened so far this year in the 3rd year of the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. The regular season attendance would be, including tonight's game, would be 178,459, which is roughly 5,000 more than last year.
That's terrific. Swinging a foul, straight back by Cruiser. He remains in the hole 1-2. Wayne Hedden warming up in the Kernel bullpen. Kernels down by 3 here in the top of the 9th inning. A stunning 7-run Clinton 6th inning turned this game around. The Kernels were in great shape going to the top of the sixth, leading 4-1. But the LumberKings sent 11 men to the plate and scored 7 runs on 5 hits and 2 Kernel errors. Popping one foul over the backstop to stay alive at 1-2 is Josh Cruiser. Well, Bob Brooks, we don't want to sound the
death knell,
right? Or what do they say what do they give a funeral? When a guy talks at a funeral, the eulogy.
Oh, no.
But we don't want a death knell or a eulogy to the Colonel.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
I was looking for the right word. And I think we need to eulogize the Kernels in 2 ways. One, they may come back in the 9th inning and send us to a game, extra inning, or to a game 3 tomorrow. But if they don't, let's give them all the credit in the world. You already have saluted our fans, over 178,000 strong. And, boy, this Kernel Ball Club, as Jeff Johnson talked it over with Scott Unash on the 19th hole earlier this afternoon, an overall record of 75-64, doing something that the Anaheim Angel minor leaguers rarely do, and that is qualify for the playoffs in the first half. In my opinion, there's at least 5 kids on this team that will play in the major leagues, maybe more, but at least 5. And when you look at that big picture, what you have to do is Buckley gets the batter on strikes. Josh Cruiser called out on strikes on a 2-2 pitch.
Beautiful, beautiful curveball.
When you look at the big picture, we have to be very, very grateful for the 5.5 months these kids have given us.
Well, yes, and there are so many people you want to salute and say thank you to. But again, getting back to the fans, if you put in the All-Star game of 5,861,
yes,
then you have a crowd of 184,320 for the year, which is about 10,000 more than last year. So that's a pretty good. We're at a level where it can still expand and still get more people involved, especially in the trade area and the corridors between Cedar Rapids and Waterloo and Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. So there is plenty of work to be done, but you have to thank the staff out here because it's a long haul and it's tough to put on a show like this. In baseball, it's an opening every night practically, and it's different than a football game a week or a basketball game every 3 or 4 days. And it's a big undertaking, and everything we do here is the same thing they do in a major league ballpark.
That's right.
Except that it's just not quite as much.
That's right. It's on a smaller scale, but in all cases, more affordable, and in most cases, more fun. A high drive to straightaway center by Larry Grayson on a 3-1 pitch. Quan Cosby just beyond one of the points of the big white star that the grounds crew put down with such pride earlier this morning. Quan has it for the second out of the 9th inning. And Bob, and again, this is not a eulogy or writing the 9th inning off, but I also want to not only second your thoughts about our fans and the front office, but also want to thank all the players' parents who tune in. And you parents, you've raised marvelous kids. I've enjoyed being at schools with them all April and May in our Toyota Financial Services reading program. They are delightful, well-mannered, and very, very humble kids. And it's a real hard thing for me to even think about not rubbing elbows with them the next 7 months. I'm like a retired player. They always say they don't miss so much the paycheck or the limelight. They miss Bob, their teammates, and their friends.
Certainly. That basically is why you're in the business.
It's a people business.
It's certainly not the monetary reward. That's the greatest thing I've gotten out of sports is your association. You become, as you travel with the team and get to know them, while you become attached and follow them. And it's a family sort of situation. And then all of a sudden it's over.
That's the hard part right there, Bob.
Yes, it is.
The 1-2.
I remember in 1949 when we had the Rockets and the whole thing became kind of it became a Cinderella story. It really was. And at the end of the year, I'll tell you, when I started saying goodbye to the players, I just about lost it because I really felt that, boy, we wanted this to go on. You wanted to see more of them. It was difficult. It really was.
It was hard to think about taking the uniform off. That's exactly the way we all feel, and hopefully it won't be over. The Kernels trail 8-5, top of the ninth inning, and ball 3 from Alan Buckley, who's pitched his heart out and pitched dynamite for the Kernels. He's facing Kevin Richardson, who has struck out 4 times. Wouldn't you know it? He drove in all 3 runs last night. Tonight, 3 strikeouts rather, and a hit. He's been hit by a pitch and scored. Richardson on a full count pitch from Alan Buckley. Ooh, did he hold up? No, says the base umpire. Corey Blosser rings up Kevin Richardson. And how about Alan Buckley? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts for Alan Buckley in his 1, 2, 3 and a third innings of relief. Alan Buckley, 3 1/3 scoreless innings, 5 strikeouts, limiting the LumberKings to 1 hit in 3 1/3 innings. Well, the stage is set. Let's don't eulogize the Kernels. Let's be talking celebration. The Kernels have to rally for 3 to send it to extra innings, 4 to pull it out of the fire as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, the top of the order up for the Kernels. 8-5 LumberKings. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
I cannot face anyone but you. Baby, can't you see I know what's right for me? Don't tell me wrong from right. I know just what I like. Yeah, call me crazy, I don't care. Come feel the joy all around each generation. They set their own understand. I'm just shout it out.
Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da-da-da! Hey, call the A-Team! Hey, Matt, thanks for having us over for the game, but, we could have had it at my house. My TV is bigger, and my AC works.
I thought you were supposed to get that fixed while your wife was out of town this week.
Oh, man, I totally forgot, and she's coming home tomorrow.
She's gonna kill you.
What am I gonna do?
You need to call the A-Team.
The A-Team?
Yeah, Ahern Plumbing and Heating. They can get your service in 24 hours, guaranteed.
I better call Ahern Plumbing and Heating right away.
Top of the order for the Kernels, bottom of the ninth inning, 8-5 LumberKings. The Kernels need to score 3 to send it to extra innings. 4 would win it and send us to a game 3, a deciding game tomorrow at noon. The LumberKing right-hander Jesse Ingram retired the side in order in the bottom of the 8th, striking out 2. Leahy, base hit into right field. Ryan Leahy is 3 for 5. Man, that guy is a gamer. That guy is clutch. Ryan Leahy stepping into the first pitch from Ingram, swatting it through the hole of the right side of the LumberKing infield, and the Kernels have their 12th hit of the game and just need 1 more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
And there is nobody warming up in the Clinton bullpen.
Not easy for a first-year pro, even though he's seasoned through the college ranks from Cal Berkeley. Jesse Ingram, he has a lot on the line. Leahy is already dancing off first, trying to get under the collar of the right-hander. Howie Kendrick has had a good night. He's 1 for 4 with a run scored. Swing and a foul straight back.
367 batting average, the batting champ of the Midwest League, even though he missed so much time with that groin pull. I think it was besides his batting championship, he set a record for longest time out on groin pull.
Yes, he did. Howie waves at a changeup low and away. Strike 2 on Howie Kendrick. We're 8 to have Howie at the plate. He was at the plate with the bases loaded. Nobody out in the 6th inning. A run crossed the plate as he bounced into a 5-3 double play.
He's been in the number 2 slot most of the year. 10 home runs, 49 runs driven in.
The 0-2 to Kendrick. A high pop-up. This will be the first out of the inning. Underneath it is the first baseman, Josh Cruiser. It's a fair ball right next to the line, 5 feet in front of the base. Kendrick's pop-up is taken down safely by Cruiser. 1 away. With Kernels still need one base runner to bring the tying run to the plate here in the ninth inning against right-hander Jesse Ingram. Blake Balcom gave the Kernels a 2-1 lead in the first inning when he belted a 2-run homer over the left field wall. Balcom batting with Leahy at first.
Now you're down to 2 outs.
And that's all right for the Kernels. They've been able to show their ability to rally throughout this season, especially in the first half. Uncle Charlie is a strike called to Balcom. Matt Pauley standing on deck. The Kernels will employ a pinch hitter for just the third time this season if Balcom avoids a double play. Blake smokes one foul over the screen. Strike 2. Again, Matt Pauley lurking on deck, hoping he can bat with 2 on and 1 out. Right now there's 1 on and 1 out. Blake Balcom trying to reach to bring pinch hitter tying run Matt Pauley to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth inning. 8-5 in favor of Clinton. 0-2 to Blake Balcom. Ingram set above the belt. The pitch is swatted foul into the screen. Blake spoiled a good 0-2 pitch. Well,
there isn't much you can add to a situation. It's either you hit it or go home.
Blake Balcom in the hole, 0-2. The right-hander Ingram's next delivery. Fouled over the screen. Blake's having a very good battle with Jesse Ingram. If the LumberKings hang on and prevail tonight and win the series 2-0, they will not erupt into a World Series-like celebration. They'll be very gleeful and certainly jump up and down a little bit, but they will know that it's just step one in their quest. And Bob and I have a steak dinner on the line that Clinton's going to win. I'm betting they'll win this Midwest League title, and I have to pit them against the rest of the league. Swing and a miss by Blake Balcom on a changeup, and there are 2 out here in the Colonel ninth. Matt Pauley will pinch hit for Michael Collins, who was 2 for 4 with a run scored tonight. Matt Pauley, the pinch hitter.
And this is it. 8-5, 1 on, last half of the ninth. Can you prolong the season, or is it going to be the end of 2004 for this edition of the Cedar Rapids Kernels? Left-handed hitter against right-handed pitcher. I can't believe your stat. That's only the 3rd time that Bobby Maggs is. Well, that tells you one thing from Anaheim. They say when you put that lineup out there, play them.
Exactly. Believe in your lineup. Believe in your players. This is not the level to put winning, solely winning above development. And I commend for, it's hard. I know Bobby, he agrees with the philosophy, but it's still hard sometimes to not pinch hit. But Bobby is stuck to the edict from Bill Stoneman. And this is only the 3rd pinch hitter. Ball 1 to Pauley. Matt swings and misses. Strike 1. Matt trying to reach to bring up the tying run.
Sandoval, the shortstop for Clinton, is playing close to second base. He's still on the shortstop side, but there is a shift on, and the third baseman Frostad of Clinton is really the only man on the left side of the infield.
This is the Matt Pauley shift, as we saw in Clinton last night. Matt takes low, ball 2. Pauley walked in the 2nd inning last night, then went 0 for 2. Matt Pauley pinch hitting for Michael Collins. Bottom of the 9th, Clinton leads 8-5. Kernels have a runner at first. Leahy's not being held by Josh Cruiser. And the shift, as Bob noted, has Pauley to pull. Swing and a miss by Matt, strike 2. And now that Clinton bench is even more eager to spew out onto the diamond. They're a strike and an out away from going on in round 2 of the Midwest League playoffs.
Excellent pitch up about the letters inside, and it was too good to lay off of.
Leahy at first. 2 out in the 9th, and the 2-2 to the pinch hitter, Matt Pauley. A high drive to left, and Clinton will win this series. On comes the left fielder, and gloving it is Andrew Wishy. The LumberKings sweep the Kernels in 2 games. 3-0 last night, 8-5 tonight. Matt Pauley flies to left. The Kernels no runs in the 9th, 1 hit. There were no LumberKing errors. The Kernels leave a runner in stranded 9. and a hearty congratulations and good luck in round 2 to the club I picked to win it all, the Clinton LumberKings. The game took 2 hours and 57 minutes, and Clinton won it 8-5. Bob, I'd like, if you have time, Mike Kuhlbeck is supposed to bring in scores from around the Midwest League, but I also know you have a wife and grandkids. It's your call whether you'd like to stay on with us.
Well, let me run down and see if I can get the scores.
Bob, that'd be great. Bob Brooks is heading out to see if we can get scores from the rest of the Midwest League from Mike Kuhlbeck. The Kernels fight valiantly, but fall to Clinton tonight, 8-5, and that ends the playoff run. The Kernels swept by Clinton in 2 games. Totals, highlights, and more next on the Colonel Curtain Call. This is Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Your husband has a sore throat and he's whimpering about getting it checked. That's when you make a mental note to yourself, must find family doctor.
How do you find the right doctor for your family?
It was easier than I thought. I called the number, and 3 minutes later, I had the names of 3 doctors who were in my neighborhood and were taking new patients.
Just call the Mercy Care referral line at 369-4444.
My Mercy Care doctor doesn't rush me out of the room with me saying, but what about, how do I? They take the time to answer my questions, even the silly ones.
It's that extra understanding, compassion, and care that Mercy Care community physicians practice every day.
So I got that doctor thing figured out. Now what do I do about that whimpering husband?
Find the right doctor for your family. Just call 369-4444 or find out more about our family doctors on the web at www.mercycaredoctors.com. Finding a doctor you really like. That's real life. That's the Mercy Touch.
Time for the Colonel's Curtain Call, right here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM. With a recap of all the action, the State Farm Major League scoreboard, plus a look ahead to the next Colonel's game, let's rejoin the voice of the Colonel, the one, the only John Rogers, here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM.
Well, welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium, where the Colonel season came to a disappointing but yet uplifting end tonight. I'll explain both of those adjectives. Uplifting in that the Colonels fought their hearts out. Disappointing in that the Clinton LumberKings struck for 7 in the 6th inning to erase a Colonel 4-1 lead. And Clinton proves themselves to be the better team in the second half, and they advanced to round 2 of the Midwest League playoffs. After a 3-0 win last night, the LumberKings eliminate the Kernels in an 8-5 win this evening. The LumberKings took the lead in the first inning off starter Chris Hunter, a one-out single by Abigail Sandoval, and then Micah Furtado singled him to second. After Josh Cruiser struck out, Larry Grayson walked, and, well, let's go back. As Cruiser struck out, Sandoval and Furtado combined on a double steal. Abigail stole third. Furtado swiped second. Michael Collins' throw struck Furtado at second and trickled into right field, and that allowed Abigail Sandoval to come home from third, 1-0 Clinton. That lead didn't last long, though. Howie Kendrick singled in the first. Blake Balcom then socked a 2-run homer to put the Kernels ahead 2-1. The Kernels made it 3-1 in the second inning. Textbook baseball. Brandon Wood walked, stole second. Quan Cosby sacrificed him to third, and Ryan Leahy with the infield in grounded one sharply through the hole of the drawn-in Clinton infield to give the Kernels a 3-1 lead. The Kernels up their lead to 4-1 in the third inning. Michael Collins, his second straight hit, went to second on a Baltazar Lopez single into center, and then Warner Madrigal ripped a single into left, scoring Michael Collins, and the Kernels, after 3 innings, led this game 4-1. Things looked great until the 6th inning. That's when the LumberKings sent 11 men to the plate and scored 7 runs. They got an infield single from Josh Cruiser to start it. He went to second as Ryan Leahy's throw got by Baltazar Lopez. An infield hit and an error made it. The LumberKings had a runner at second with nobody out. Larry Grayson singled into left to put Cruiser at third. In came Aaron Pullen. He hit Kevin Richardson to load the bases. Then Andrew Wishy made it 4-2 Kernels with a base hit through the middle. Cody Clark reached on a fielder's choice, driving in a run to make it 4-3 Kernels. Emerson Frostad, the number 9 hitter, tied the game with a base hit to right, tied it at 4. Dane Bubella reached on an error at first by Baltazar Lopez. Abigail Sandoval drove in the go-ahead run with a fielder's choice force out. Micah Furtado was hit by a pitch, and then with the bases loaded and 2 out, a full count to Josh Cruiser, and he came through with the game-winning hit in this game, or in this contest. Josh Cruiser emptied the bases on a 3-2 pitch from Aaron Pullen with the bases loaded with a 3-run double into left. The Kernels battled valiantly and, in fact, had a great chance to get right back in the game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Trailing 8-4, the Kernels loaded the bases. Wood singled. Cosby reached on an error by the third baseman Frosted. Leahy singled into right. The bases were loaded with nobody out. Howie Kendrick bounced into a 5-3 double play. Brandon Wood scored, but that double play took the wind right out of the Kernels' sails, and it would be the last run scored by either club tonight. The final line score, the victorious LumberKings 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. They stranded 7. The Kernels 5 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors. We left 9. Winning pitcher Craig Freidendahl for Clinton in relief of the starter Brian Mattoon. The Kernel loser Aaron Pullen. The game took 2 hours and 57 minutes before a playoff crowd of 1,530. We'll be back in a minute with our Liberty Bank star plays of the game. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Whether you're a serious athlete or a weekend warrior, injuries can take you out of your game. Smart athletes know that Physical Therapy Associates in Cedar Rapids are the experts in the treatment and prevention of sport-related injuries. Our expert staff serves the metro and surrounding area high school athletes. Physical Therapy Associates of Cedar Rapids, the smart choice in sports medicine. Call us at 398-1569. That's 398-1569. We'll get you back in your game today.
For more than 70 years, Rockwell Collins has been dedicated to providing innovative and dependable aviation electronics and communication solutions worldwide. We also bring a dedication of excellence to our communities to help ensure growth and prosperity. The long-standing partnership between Rockwell Collins and the Kernels is one way we're enhancing the quality of life in our community and making Cedar Rapids the best place to live and work. Rockwell Collins and the Cedar Rapids Kernels, partners on and off the field.
Not often that a decisive playoff game is called with Bob Brooks. And Bob, thank you so much for being with us this evening. And after the Kernels lost 8-5, we have updates from these intra-state rivalries. Interesting, in the first round, all these games are being played in a state. And how are the rest of the games unfolding, Bob?
All right. You know what happened out here? It was 8-5 in favor of Clinton. Clinton goes on. Kane County is still alive. They defeat Peoria 6-1, and that series tied at a game apiece. Lansing 3, West Michigan 1. That, too, is tied at a game apiece. And South Bend has the lead on Fort Wayne 4-1, and that game is not finalish yet, but I would think that that puts South Bend in to the next round of the playoffs. So for the major leagues, well, if you think tonight's 7-run inning by Clinton was something, Kansas City today had 26 runs against the Detroit Tigers in the first game of the doubleheader. 26 runs on 26 hits, and it was 26-5. But guess what? The Tigers found that Kansas City run out of gas. Detroit in the second game won it 8-0. The New York Yankees, they have wanted to play, they wanted to forfeit, and the way Tampa Bay has played today's doubleheader at Yankee Stadium, Tampa Bay should have forfeited. That would have been the best thing to do. The George Steinbrenner wannabes lost to the New York Yankees 9-1 and 10-5. So Boston, a couple of games down on the loss side, into the second inning out in Seattle. The Mariners lead the Red Sox 1-0. The White Sox win at Texas 7-3, and Toronto and Anaheim are 0-0 in the third. For the National League, the Mets ended the winning skein of the Florida Marlins. Marlins had won 9 straight. The Mets shut them out today at Pro Player 4-0. Pittsburgh ended the Houston Astros 12-game winning streak in the first game of the doubleheader, 9-3. But in the second game, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Houston Astros. It is 9-2 in favor of Houston, and that game is going into the last inning. Milwaukee and Cincinnati, the Brewers win it 7-2. Philadelphia 7, Atlanta 4 in the 8th inning. Colorado leading San Diego. Padres are in that national wild card chase. Colorado leads 4-2 in the 6th, and Arizona leading the Dodgers 2-0 in the 2nd. And that is the report on Major League Baseball and the Midwest League. And John, you set a record. I know you've had a wonderful year broadcasting. Congratulations to you on another great season. You also lead the league in pencil sharpening. You are by far not the Midwest League leader, the Major League leader. I've seen Red Barber, and he never had that many pencils sharpened in a single game as you do. You keep everything sharp as you did with your broadcast this year, and thank you so much for the time. And one more thank you to the people here in Cedar Rapids who house the players, the home families, the away-from-home families of the Cedar Rapids Kernels. Congratulations to them for taking care of really the kids during the season. It's a wonderful program that's worked out so well. And to Doug Nelson and Jack Rader, it's always a delight to work with them and their staffs. They've had a great year, too. It's been a fine year at the ballpark. I know, too, the best baseball weather is still ahead of us.
Yes,
but
it is.
there won't be baseball here at the stadium till next April, hopefully with a much better schedule than we had this year. So, John, thank you so much.
Bob, thank you so much. Bob Brooks, who joined us throughout the summer, is our special guest, Brooks at Bat, and Bob couldn't have been more on his thanks to everyone, the Kernel players, the great fans, the host families, the front office. And, Bob, we thank you for sharing so much of your insight and making these broadcasts fun. It was just a joy for myself and our listeners to hear. Bob brought you the State Farm Major League Scoreboard from State Farm Insurance agents Dale Thompson, Al Shetler, Lanny Peterson, and Gary Shubat. Up next, our Liberty Bank star plays of the game, 8-5 Clinton. This is Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Everyone knows the old saying, why buy new when used will do? Well, it certainly applies when buying a pre-owned vehicle from Randy Keel Honda in Cedar Rapids. That's because a great selection of pre-owned Hondas from Randy Keel Honda are certified and carry a 12-month bumper-to-bumper Honda warranty. Top that off with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and you have a deal that's hard to beat. IntelliChoice ranks Honda's certification program #1 in the automobile industry for the last 5 years in a row. Randy Keel has many vehicles priced under $5,000 and a large selection priced $5,000 to $10,000, plus a great selection of trucks and SUVs too. They invite you to come in and take a test drive. They're easy to find on Centerpoint Road Northeast, or take a visit to their website anytime, day or night, at randykeel.com. When used will do, make it a certified pre-owned Honda from Randy Keel Honda in Cedar Rapids.
We're recapping the end of the season. It came to a disappointing but also exhilarating end tonight. 8-5 Clinton. The Kernels held a 4-1 lead through 5 innings before the LumberKings exploded 4-7 in the 6th. Liberty Bank, Iowa's fastest-growing bank, has provided a lot of thrills here at the ballpark with their tossing of the Liberty Bank autographed logo baseballs, and Liberty Bank is proud to present our Liberty Bank star plays of the game. The Kernels trailed 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Howie Kendrick singled. That brought up Blake Balcom. Brian Mattoon is what you would refer to as a crafty left-hander. He's not going to overpower you, but he just gets you out consistently. Started last Saturday in Davenport, pitched 8 scoreless innings against the swing of the Quad Cities Saturday night in a LumberKing win over the swing. A high deep drive to left by Balcom. Way back, adios, out of here. 2-run homer, Blake Balcom. 2-run homer, Blake Balcom. And the Kernels led it 2-1. The Kernels got a leadoff walk from Brandon Wood. He stole second, went to third on a Quan Cosby sacrifice. In the second inning, leading 2-1, Ryan Leahy with the infield in tried to add to the Kernel lead. 2-1 Kernels, bottom of the second, and the Kernels have Brandon Wood at third with only one out. Leahy grounds a base hit through the hole, left side, into left field, 3-1 Kernels. Ryan Leahy grounded one sharply through the drawn-in left side of the LumberKing infield and made it 3-1 Kernels in the third inning. In the fourth inning, with the Kernels leading 3-1, Warner Madrigal batted with 2 out and 2 on. Here's our third Liberty Bank star play of the game. Madrigal has adjusted his batting stance since falling into a tailspin during the last week and a half of the season. Warner spread out at the plate and has very little bend in his knees. A ground ball to the left side, through, past the diving Frosted. Collins wheeling around third. Michael crosses the plate, standing up. It's 4-1 Kernels here in the bottom of the third inning. Bottom of the third inning, and it was 4-1 Kernels, and things look very bright indeed. Our fourth and final Liberty Bank star play of the game, starter Chris Hunter on the hill. The LumberKings trailing 4-1, batting in the bottom of the fourth inning, and at the plate for Clinton was Abigail Sandoval. Ground ball knocked down by Chris Hunter. He can't find the handle. He throws out. Phenomenal play by Hunter. Bobby's taken 2 hits away from LumberKing batters. He's taken 2 hits away from the LumberKings, helping himself.
Like Greg Maddox out there.
Bob Brooks saying he looked like Greg Maddox out there, and indeed he did. Those are our Liberty Bank star plays of the game. 8-5 Clinton. A disappointing yet exhilarating end to the Kernel season. Megan Comenda, Bob Brooks, and I were talking. The hardest part about this business is its sudden death nature. Tomorrow there will be no clubhouse to the guys to joke around and to continue those bonds of friendship. The energy level of the front office will certainly go down a notch or two for the next day or two, and then we'll crank it up for next season. But this is what it's all about, is these guys forming bonds of friendship and the fans coming out for 5+ months. And it's very sad to see it end, yet baseball, as they say, hope springs eternal.
Yes, John, we'll hope for a better season next year. And I want to thank everyone at the Kernel staff for a wonderful season. I had a fabulous time, and I'm sad to go home to Chicago, but I will be here next season hoping for a Midwest League championship.
Well, that's what we're going to aim for. We did everything but win the championship this year, having a good first half and fighting our hearts out in the second half. Bob Brooks wanted me to remind you, Megan, that there is a doubleheader at Wrigley Field tomorrow between the Cubs and Marlins if you're not all baseballed out.
I'll never be all baseballed out, but I will be on my way to South Bend, John.
Oh, that's right. You're going to see the Wolverines and Fighting Irish.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing like 80,000 at Notre Dame Stadium. Megan, on behalf of our entire front office, our fans, and all of our listeners, thank you very much for all the hard work. You and Sonia Massey and Matt Moss were a terrific trio to work with throughout this season. And as I said during Reader Recognition Day Sunday with Toyota Financial Services, nothing could have been accomplished without your energy, your enthusiasm, and just that upbeat nature that you brought to the ballpark every single day and night. We're going to miss you, but I think it's going to be only temporary. I have a feeling that somehow we're going to reunite in this great game of professional baseball.
Well, I look forward to that, John, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you, Megan Comenda. 8-5 Clinton, we appreciate you being a part of this broadcast and being with us all season here on the Zone. Bev Taylor was our in-studio engineer, and the season comes to an end as Clinton sweeps the Kernels in 2 games. For broadcast assistant Megan Comenda, Hall of Fame sportscaster Bob Brooks, I'm John Rogers wishing you a wonderful start to your weekend, and we'll crank it up again in early April, as Bob said, for 2005. 8-5 Clinton, so long from the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. This has been Kernel Baseball on the Zone.